Glory, the honor, and the praise for all things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. So welcome to our mayoral forum, Southside City of Hope, Woodrow Stanley Black Leaders Forum. To the candidates who come to stand for this community and to answer this community, welcome. And to every person who walked through the doors at the Brennan Senior Center tonight, thank you for showing up. That matters more than anything. Here's what tonight is about: rights, resources, and voter turnout. Not slogans, not sound bites, real rights. The ones we have to protect, the ones we still have to fight for. Real resources, the ones our neighborhoods need and deserve. And the ones too often promise but never deliver. And real turnout. Because none of this matters, none of it, if we don't show up on election day and finish what we started tonight. This forum is your chance to look these candidates in the eye and ask hard questions and listen. And I mean really listen to how they answer. Not what they say they'll do, what they actually will do. So tonight, let's be respectful, let's be engaged, and let's leave here more informed and more determined than when we walked in. I now yield to the floor.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Wade Stevens. I would like to thank the Southside City of Hope and the Woodrow Stanley Black Leaders for allowing me to be a part of this event. I would also like to thank all of you guys for coming out and being engaged. I will start by reading the rules of engagement. Each candidate will receive 2 minutes for response to questions. We have an official timekeeper who will hold up the time when 30 seconds remain and when 0 seconds remain. Because we are trying to get through so much in a short amount of time, we are asking the audience to hold your applause until the end. Respectful behavior. Candidates must conduct themselves with respect towards each other, the moderator, organizers, and the audience. Personal attack, inflammatory language, and disrespectful behavior are not allowed. Moderator's authority. Candidates must follow the instructions of the moderator and respect the decision regarding the flow of the forum, speaking order, and adherence to rules. No interruptions. Candidates should not interrupt each other or speak out of time. Respectful listening is essential to fostering constructive dialogue. Rotate order on each round of questions, so we'll be doing a round robin style. We'll start with an opening statement, and we will end with closing statements. Each candidate will be given 1 minute for their opening statement, and then they will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. We will have 4 questions that are already picked. And then we will also open the floor to receive questions from the audience. And it's my understanding that the audience are receiving note cards to submit questions. Is that correct? If you have not, where do they pick up the note card?
Let's just raise your hand if you don't have no card, I'll make sure they do.
Okay. And so if you would like to submit a question, you get note cards to hand out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is not specifically detailed in the rules. Who are they? Who's picking the questions? So, it's my understanding that we're trying to get through as many cards as possible within the time. Any other questions? Now, let me introduce our candidates. introduce our candidates for mayor, Mr. Womack, Nick Owens, and Councilwoman Tanya Burns. So we will start based off the seat order with Ms. Ward. We will give you time right now for your opening statement. You have 1 minute.
No. They need to spread them out.
Yeah.
Spread them out.
Yeah, they gotta spread them things. There you go.
Spread them out.
Can you hear me? All right, my name is Michelle Womack, and I am a resident of the city of Flint, born and raised here. Actually, I went to Stewart Elementary School right here, so I learned to read and to write. I learned discipline by being a part of the drill team led by Mr. John Rhines. Our principal was Dr. Simmons back in the day. And I remember that this was a vital, rich community where we had educators, doctors, dentists, all types of people living in our community. And so that's a part of why I'm running for mayor, because I hope to continue to work to revitalize the city, to fight for the resources and the investment that our young people need so that they can have a strong foundation to go on and be productive citizens and help them.
Good evening, my name is Nikia Owens, here with my wife Marty, seated up front here the second chair. We both live here in Flint, that's from my college. And the reason why I'm running for mayor is I am someone who, I didn't grow up in Flint, but I grew up in Michigan. I'm someone who believes in the greatness of Michigan. And all the time I was growing up in Southwest Michigan, I would hear about Flint. And I think I would hear about Flint. Good pins, you live in Flint, have a good job. You have a good quality of life. And that's something we just don't have anymore. And something that is plaguing our city is the lack of good jobs, the lack of a safe environment, the lack of an environment that people feel is appealing just to look at, is resulting in young people leaving the city. An article was just published a few weeks ago saying we're down to another 200 people this year. We've been losing people for decades. We've got to stop that. My campaign platform is this: jobs, safety, beauty, through teamwork and transparency. If you elect me, I'm going to do those for you. Look forward to working with you folks after the vote.
Thank you, and let me first say thank you to all of you and to the Southside City of Hope and to the Woodrow Stanley leadership. Why am I running? I sit on council, so I understand exactly what the city of Flint faces. And it's time for a change. It's time for a positive change. It's time that we can begin to trust our local government. It's time to bring trust and confidence back to our city. People have been hearing me say since 2020, we need a comprehensive public safety plan. I have a plan. I have a plan for public safety, economic development plan. And in my council seat, I'm not able to implement those. So that's why I'm here, to put us back on track so we can restore trust and confidence in our government. It's time for change.
So I think first of all, we need to deal with it. Right now, we have a situation where on our side of our city and other parts of our city, we have people who cannot even drink the water that they pay outrageous rates for. We need to deal with the water. I think where we start with that is, first of all, having an assessment done of the water system. We have people who are calling and complaining to the present administration, and when they call, they don't get answers. No one's going out to check out what the complaints are. I have several people, even friends of mine, who are complaining of discolored water, smelling water, and when they call the administration, no one cares. How we fix that is, I'm a municipal lawyer. I advise local governments on how to run. How you fix that is you go to the engineers and you take these people's complaints seriously. When you've got a complaint, you send out an engineer to evaluate what's going on. That costs money. It also requires care for your people. That's first thing. We gotta fix the water. If we don't get the water put to bed, this city will never come back. It's continually holding us back. When I speak to people from outside of Flint, they always ask me, how's the water? Is it fixed yet? It doesn't matter where you go. My wife, she's originally from South America. When I speak to people from down there, even in Europe, there was a reporter here a few months ago, he said, how's the water? We still have that stigma. We've got to put it together. So that's first thing. Fix the water. Figure out what we got to do and start working on it. Next, work on movement. We've got to deal with the crime. Right now, we have about 69 officers down the road all the time. We have streets in our city. People have never seen an officer come by our house unless there's an emergency. And that's just hopefully. We've had several instances recently where we've had houses shot up and police don't even respond. One, I know from personal knowledge, the police were called. They didn't show up until the next day. And the reason why they showed up was to do a report for the insurance. It wasn't to do any kind of investigative measures. And what we can do, I'll get back to that later.
Thank you. So here's the question, please.
Yes. What are your top 3 priorities for the city of Flint in your first year as mayor, and how will residents be able to make priorities?
Thank you. So my top 3 priorities, number 1, I have a 100-day plan. My 100-day plan I will implement, not create a plan, I will be implementing. And so what that plan will be the comprehensive public safety plan. We're dealing with gun violence, teen gangs, we're dealing with the laws. Deal with the lawlessness. And so when we talk about the crime we've all experienced, I've had crime scene table tied around the telephone pole at my home. And so those are issues. Number 2, our water, our infrastructure. People deserve to have affordable, safe drinking water from the tap. We don't have that. I get the calls, even with toilets, we're 7 minutes between the toilets. So we've got issues. We have not completed our service lines. They have not all been completed. They're still repairing those and replacing them. We gave that $35 million we were supposed to go to repair for indoor plumbing. We gave that back. Why? When I asked our city administrator, he said that we had no one to implement that plan. We have to start taking these dollars that we're sending back seriously. I'm not sending back any money. I'm going to ask for more money. And then blight. Blight is a serious issue. We have structural blight. We have illegal dumping. We also have blight when we talk about tall grass. What I did on city council is make sure I helped to fund and work with the Mount Park Foundation to create a better green tool shed. And what does that mean? We allow people that they can come in and get a lawnmower, a leaf blower, an edger, and they can borrow those things for free. So we're taking care of blight such as tall grass. You can get any of these things for free. So when you feel better, your community looks better, and we want a beautiful city. Beautification makes us come together. And when we work together, we can do great things. It's time, and what I would stress is uniting Flint. I will not divide us any further. Thank you.
Yes. What are your top 3 priorities for the city of Flint in your first year as mayor, and how will residents be able to make priorities?
My first priority would begin the work of bringing together some unity between city council and the mayor's office. There's been too much division, too much conflict, too much unwillingness to cooperate. I would suggest and offer a process where city council and the mayor's office, that staff and so we all participate in a TRHT program, which is helping us work towards racial healing, truth, and understanding one another so that we can work together. It's a process that helps us to build trust. And we have to trust each other if we want to be able to work together effectively. So that's the first thing. And then second, we really need to begin to implement the community safety initiative to address the crime in our city. I would begin to work with those who've already been studying and preparing plans to begin to address violence in a holistic way. And what I would do is apply a whole of government, a whole of community approach that brings together people from all over the city, mayor's office, public health, police, EMS, schools, housing, deal with housing, homelessness, mental and behavioral health, workforce development, parks and recreation, sports, probation, city, community-based violence intervention programs, space organizers. We need everyone, all hands on deck to be a part of the solution and part of the plan to address safety in our community. The last thing is I will continue to work with the state to make sure that all the pipes are finished, that they're replaced or capped off, so that citizens can once and for all feel safe in drinking water.
Thank you all for your response. We go on to our next question. We start with Councilman Burns. This question is, how do we work with city council to move the city forward while respecting the separate roles of the executive and legislative?
Thank you for that question, and that's why I'm running. If I felt I could do any more in my council seat, because I love working on community, I will stay. I want to be able to implement plans. I want to implement real change. I would be in city council. Before I was elected, I was in city council. I would stay on that line all night long through COVID because it was that important. I've been in city council and I've been a part of our local government. So when you create trust and you build those relationships, we do understand at that point we're working together, reaching out across, understanding what each board needs. The 9th ward does not need the same type of attention as the 1st ward. We know that. We know that people go to sleep at night to the sounds of gunshots. In my opinion, the 1st ward is under siege right now. Gunshots from Bell Tree, Barbara Drive, Russet Place. Children go to bed, they don't wake up. And when you work with council people to understand what their needs are, we're bridging that gap. And that's what we have to do. It's not just extending the olive branch, it's actually coming into the community. I like connecting, I like talking, I like engaging, because it's about the people. And the council people know firsthand what are the issues that they face. That is something that's so important. And what I won't do is do press conferences saying how bad the council is, because that's eradicating the trust. I want to build the trust. I will not do press conferences and blaming everything on city council because the administration didn't do it right. We have to come together. We got to start saying, hey, we're one Flint. It's not just my community, it's your community. And when we build trust together and we show up for each other, it makes us better in our community.
Ms. Womack? Yes, ma'am. How do you work with city council to move the city forward while respecting the separate roles of executive and legislative?
Thank you. I believe a big part of it, as part of what I said before, is that I would take time to build relationships with each member of city council, beginning to understand more about them and their wards, understand why they wanted to be a part of city council and what their goals are, what they hope to achieve. And then, as I mentioned before, implementing that TRHT program. That will help to break down barriers in communication, right? Because, we may not always agree on everything, but we still have to find ways to work together. And so that TRHT program helps to remove any notions of hierarchy, allows people to take off their masks and just be human. Set aside their titles, set aside their position, so that we can begin to relate to one another in real ways, tell the truth to each other when needed, and hold each other accountable in our roles. Finally, I think it's important to offer continuing education, and I would myself, as well as the mayoral staff and the city council, I would encourage everyone to pursue continuing education. Michigan political leadership program would help allow us to understand our individual roles and how we can work together more effectively and efficiently.
Thank you. So I think that when it comes to how would I work together with council, the people of our city deserve effective representation, they deserve efficient representation, and they deserve ethical representation. One of the main motivators I had when I decided to run was I would watch council meetings online, I'd go to them in person, and there'd be a question from council, and the administration, a resolution would become coming from the administration. There should be someone there prepared to speak to that resolution. And when the resolution would come up, a representative would be asked to speak on it, and no one would be prepared to speak on the matter. If you bring up the idea and you say, I want this done, you better have someone there who's prepared to speak to it. That requires planning, it requires care, it requires the dedication to efficiency. And that's why I say ethical. If you're on council, or if you're the mayor, working for the administration, you have an ethical duty to the people of this city. They're paying your paycheck. We're paying their paychecks. You have an ethical obligation with them to put your interests aside and put their interests before yours. I'm an attorney. I do that every day with my clients. And also, as being an attorney, when I'm doing litigation, my goal is to get my client's interests fulfilled. I got to get them across the finish line. And that really requires, sometimes it's fighting, most of the time it requires negotiation. When council's not doing what you want it to do, you need to get them on the phone, and you need to figure out, what do I got to do to get your vote? I noticed you didn't vote for the resolution last night. We thought that was a really important matter to be passed. What do I got to do to earn your vote? And like Councilman Burns said, none of this doing a press conference the next day to ream out the council for not doing what you wanted it to do. We have a two-branch system. We have our system is designed, the administration, the mayor is responsible for the day-to-day, how things run. The council is responsible to hold the purse strings, to hold him in check. It's like a marriage relationship. You got two, you got to work together.
Question number 3. What is your plan to improve public safety while also building trust from the resident, law enforcement, and community organizations?
Well, as I mentioned before, that I would bring to the table all of government, whole community prevention to address violence prevention and public safety in our community. That would connect multiple public agencies and community partners, allowing them to work together instead of silos to prevent violence before it happens. It would also allow them to respond more effectively when violence does happen. And it would address the underlying conditions that contribute to violence. So that whole of government prevention model has a goal to create shared public safety strategy that combines enforcement as well as prevention, intervention, healing, and long-term opportunities. It addresses all of the systemic roots that continue to fester and foster violence in our community. Violence is often connected to multiple factors. We have to look at trauma, poverty, untreated mental health needs, substance use issues, school disengagement, housing instability, retaliatory conflicts that we have going on, people having lack of employment or gainful employment, neighborhood disinvestment, and the easy access to firearms. So those are all things that have to be addressed.
I think we're dealing with the public safety issue, how we do that holistically, it really comes back to really every department plan. Job safety, how we continue with transparency. Our young people right now, we have a lot of young people who are getting into crime, in part because they have no hope that going to school, studying, and getting a good job is even in their future. Right now, our city used to be a place, my grandparents came up from Eastern Kentucky, not to Flint, but they came up to Michigan for good jobs back in the late 50s, early 60s. This was a place where people came to get their dreams come true through good jobs. And right now, our young people, most of them don't have hopes of getting a good job. They can make more money selling drugs, getting in with a gang. That is a big problem. We need to have decent jobs, so at least that we can tell a young person, live right. There is a reward for you. That's an important thing. We got to get a good job. And then that safety element, this is how we deal with that. Our police department right now, we have 69 officers on the road at a time. We have 9 roads. That's not enough. We just had the MSP pour out of patrol that they were providing for the city. That just helped to bring backup. I've been talking to present officers who used to be on the force, and asking them, what do we need? They said we need officers, we need money, and we need community policing. trust established in our people. They need to know that when the police show up, they're not showing up just to bang heads together. They need to have a relationship in place before the emergency call. So that way they have good informants, they have good relationships with the community, so they can actually solve crimes. Now, how you do that, it takes money. I know for a fact that if we're not even going for right now, that will provide the additional funding needed to accomplish that. So, we got to give good jobs to the young people so they have hope. We also got to get good police presence. The other thing we need to do, and a lot of people don't talk about this, I believe the blight and the litter are related to a depressed spirit and frustration in the young people. When you live in a place where everything's burned out, there's trash everywhere, it affects your son. Back to that later.
Thank you. So, again, since 2020, I've said we need a comprehensive public safety plan. I have one. Day one, I will be implementing that plan. And so what is that plan? Baltimore, Maryland has one. Not only them, Detroit has one. We also have Portland, Oregon. And so we're going to do violence intervention and prevention. We have to understand some of the things that Flint has. Our kids don't feel loved. We know that our kids were poisoned. We know that we have poverty. And a lot of these things bring issues that are pouring out today into our community. So one of the things we can let court, our kids were poisoned. Our kids are not the same as the children who are in the suburbs or in the neighboring municipalities. If we put our children, we let court, give them the help that they need. Today I got a call, looked at a video with 3 teenagers running through someone's backyard with guns and ski masks on. It's time to put a stop to that. It's time that we know that if we implement this comprehensive public safety plan, work with the schools, and work with the parents, it's going to decrease. Baltimore, Maryland decreased theirs by 85%. Why hasn't Flint did this? Also, we have opioid, mental health is an issue. We have opioid doctors with no opioid plan. We know that most calls our officers go on are generally to a mental health issue or a drug issue, which ties our officers up to dealing with the gunshots and the gang violence. So also what I would do is have a hiring incentive. We have to reach further to different areas to hire enough qualified police officers. We need officers who will come to serve, understands Flint, what Flint is made of, and Flint's culture. Flint is not like other cities. So we need officers who represent us so that when they come, we can get the needs, not just the officer, but sometimes that may require mental health services and wraparound services for families too. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you support small business, attracting investment and creating more jobs?
I'm glad you asked that question. Like I said, my dad's family moved up here from Eastern Kentucky, late 50s, early 60s to get good jobs, and they did. Their standard of living changed incredibly. Michigan changed their life. And I tell people, I'm old enough to remember how good Michigan was, but I'm also young enough to feel the economic change and the pressures that our young people are feeling. In the 1950s, we were the number 8 best per capita state in the union. In the early 2000s, we were number 16. Right now, our state is 38, 39, and our city is 24 seats in the U.S., which is sad considering the fact that we were just looking for good jobs. This is how we get jobs back in the city. First of all, make it a priority. It is not a priority of the present administration at all. We talk about everything except trying to get good jobs in the city. We're helping our small businesses. This is what you do for the small businesses. You talk to them, you open up the open line of communication. We've been going around meeting with small businesses in the city. A lot of them say these are the frustrations they have. One, it always comes back to the water. You don't like to hear that. But they say, I've met entrepreneurs who said, I live in the city. I am not going to open my business within the city limits because I know people won't come to it. So I'm looking to put it in Burton or Davison or the surrounding areas. The next thing is, they call for police relief. Just spoke to the manager of one of the Dollar Trees. She said, we called, there was a gentleman with a gun swinging around, and no one came. They said, literally just told them, we're sorry, no one can come.
I don't want everybody coming over throwing trash.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
It's not
Got
going
it.
to start a business in a place where
I'm a little man.
people are worried about the water, people are worried about people shopping and coming to
Yeah, the
business.
trash in the wrong place.
Might be a problem routinely, we have no police support to back them up, try to get their facts. The other thing with the small businesses is they have a lot of red tape. We have a blight issue in the city, not just residential, but commercial buildings. And we make it very difficult for a small business to get into an old building. What we should be doing is figuring out how to eliminate red tape or providing them someone to guide them through the process so that way we could kill two birds with one stone, blight and new jobs, and get the big businesses in as well by soliciting them, get them on the phone.
Repeat the question, please.
How will you support small businesses, attracting investment, and creating more job opportunities for people?
Thank you. So, thank you. That's so big. I was small business before I started doing this. Didn't receive any loan from the city, and no one had ever received any small business loans because they didn't have anyone who knew how to do it. So I literally had at that time to borrow money from my husband to make me pay it back in 30 days. That's what happened. And I went on to grow my business not only in Flint, but in Detroit area, Madison Heights, and eventually to Chicago, Illinois, and Indiana. So I understand what it is to be small business. What I would like to do, we have a gym here. It used to be Summerfield Chevrolet as I was born on North of Baker Street. And it is called, it's Summerfield, it's now the Old Business Center. Mr. Braun left that as a small business incubator. And on that deed, it's supposed to be a small business incubator. So what does that mean? We take entrepreneurs, we place them in this building, and we help them grow their ideas as small businesses. And we give them the support. They may not have a conference room. They may not have a room to do Zooms in. They may not have a room to do small manufacturing or just to have their employees. So one, I would improve that building. Make sure small businesses could go and they could grow there. Then what do we do next? We want them to grow. In an incubator, we think about small little chickens. They grow and they go out. We want them to grow and get their own building. We want them to be able to have their own brick and mortar. And that's what we're supposed to do. Two, I agree with Mr. Owens. We have to make sure we cut the red tape. I'm going to create a concierge service. Help them build their plans. Help them, assist them in what they need. How do they get grants? And then we need to build a better relationship with the Genesee County Chamber. This city has minorities in it. We need to make sure that we have minority representation in our businesses. And right now, we don't have that to the degree that we should. We need more community engagement, working with the chamber, and then also, I would make sure we get an economic development department. It was dissolved underneath this administration. I would restart that. Thank you.
I agree with Ms. Tanya Burns, Councilwoman Burns, that we do need to support small businesses, bring back the economic development department. I myself am an entrepreneur, I'm a professional storyteller, and I write curriculum programs for after school and out of school time to address literacy for our children. And I know that there are some programs like CIPI, 500K, 100K ideas. There are some programs that are helping entrepreneurs, but we need more of that. We need opportunities for them to apply for grants, to get funding. We have a lot of vacant business areas, business buildings in some of our corridors all throughout the city. We need to provide funding and opportunities for them to write the dollars to rehab some of those buildings, to be able to put their operations right inside the community. That will help to circulate our dollars and keep our dollars close to home. Right? There's a multiplier effect they talk about why it's important to buy small business, like to buy from small businesses, buy local, because that keeps our money circulating in our community and helps us to build wealth. And so it's very important that we support entrepreneurs, that we provide funding for them to not only start their business, but to grow their businesses as well.
Now we will move to the questions from the community. I will try to get as many questions as possible. But be aware that we do have the city council forum when we start at this, and we're trying to wrap up at 6:30. So we would like to get as many questions as possible. First question will be for Councilwoman Councilwoman Burns first. something you do as a mayor to provide space for teens and kids?
Yeah, that's something that's important. I'm a mom of 3, and I must have did something right, because I haven't had to. My kids have done the things where I've been able to commit myself 100% to this job. One of the things that's growing to each side of town, we need to have facilities where our teens and our youth can go. We need to make sure that they have a safe space, and not just with these who we say basketball. We need to also make therapy count, that these kids may come to us with issues. We need to make sure we get the parents involved, because if the parents are okay, then the children are okay. I remember some of the programs like Stepping Stones, they taught us etiquette, and we need to make sure that some of the things that we do is we know that one of the 7 board members, Madam Mercedes, teaches etiquette classes for the young girls. We need to start working together to bring back the things that were traditional. And tradition isn't completely wrong. But we need to, things may change in technology, but we need to make spaces for our children. These children like to create, videos. Let's create a space where they can not just play basketball, they can dance, they can play sports, they can do all types of creative things. And we need to make sure we need our clergy with us. We need them in a bigger part of the city, because for me, religion is important, because it helps to keep, it's our foundation and it's our base. And so we bring all these things together with our kids and let them know they're important. I bring children to city council, and they have sat next to me. I got that from Councilman Eric Bays, that you can bring a child, and sometimes the children act better than some of our council people. So I want to make sure we invite young people into local government. We need to show them that this is a place for you. I'm not supposed to be here forever, as I have told them. I want to get out of this seat of what I'm doing, and maybe one of you can take the seat as I mentor young kids in this community. Thank you.
Councilwoman Burns, again, I would like to have city council. I would like to implement a youth city council where young people would have an opportunity to understand how city government works, how decisions are made. They would be allowed to be present in some of the meetings. They would be allowed to give their voice, to talk about the things that they need, the things that they want to see happen in our city. Just in some of the conversations I've been having with teens and young adults, they have all talked about the need for having safe places to be, places where they can socialize, where they can learn new skills, where they can be mentored, where they can just have fun with their friends. They're worried as well about the violence. And so many of them are not going out and not being as social as they would like to be because they feel they're unsafe. So making sure that we have community parks that are safe places, well maintained, that there is a police presence there in those spaces, making sure there are community hubs, places where young people can just hang out. Some people have asked me about, what about a soccer field? What about a skateboard park? Young people have lost life because of things that they like to see here in our city. So we definitely need to be listening to them, hearing their voices, and taking heed, because we want to be able to pass the keys over to them. In the next 10, 20 years, they are going to be our leaders. So we have to do a better job of mentoring them and preparing them and letting them know that their voice matters.
So the tricky part of doing things for young people is we all want wonderful things for young people. We would love for our city to do wonderful things for young people. Now the budget's a mess because we can never get a straight read on it as an administration. But what I always hear is there's not enough money. And as I've been going around the city talking to people, everyone says, what can we do for our children? What can we do for our kids? Because that's our future, right? If we don't protect our children, if we don't train them up in a good way, they're going to be criminals. They're going to destroy our city. They're going to move away. Well, as I talked to people, I realized, I said, what are you referring to when you say we used to have so much stuff for kids around here? And I asked, what do you mean? They said, well, Hamady used to sponsor an event over here, or the church down here used to have a Bible school down in the park, or we used to have this private entity or this private person do this or that. It wasn't the government, and the government can do some great stuff. But we're a city that doesn't have a big pocketbook. It's like at least that's what they're saying. Maybe when I get elected, we'll find something different, we'll find some more money. But for right now, let's play it conservatively and say, let's say we're right. We need to make a space where the private people can host these events, whether they're religious or not. We need a city where you feel safe to host an event in the park. We need to also have a city that provides good enough jobs and safety to our young people. When I say young people, I mean our 20 to 50-year-old folks. The ones who can only sponsor the kids' activities are staying in the city. Right now, we're losing those folks. We're losing them to the surrounding areas because they're moving out for jobs, they're moving out because they don't feel safe, but they don't feel their kids are safe here. So we're losing their investment in our community. We need to get back to the basics and get the backs of our citizens. They deserve to have safe homes. They deserve to have a city they can live in where they can say, I want to go sponsor an event and not worry about someone driving by and shooting it up. We need to get the backs of our people so they can provide great things for our young people.
Thank you. We'll go back to the roadmap. And as Mr. Owens said, we started talking about the city's budget. What can we do to increase the tax base inside our city?
That's a good question. So in order to increase the tax base, you've got to have a city that is attractive to make people want to come and live here. And what attracts people to a city is having good paying jobs that offer a living wage, insurance, having great schools. That attracts families to want to come and live in your city. And it also attracts businesses, corporations. There was a study done by the MEA and Stanford University, and they found that corporations don't go to cities that don't have strong school systems. So a strong school system helps children, helps families, and it attracts big business to come here and want to set up shop in our city. So those are some of the things that I would do to try to increase the tax base. And then we talk about attracting those big businesses to come here. The other thing is that we don't want to make some of the same mistakes that we made in the past by allowing corporations to come in and to make us these huge promises, and we offer them these huge and large tax abatements, and then the jobs really never materialize, or they hire people who don't live in our city. So we have to be very careful as we seek contracts and seek businesses to come here, that we are very clear in how we outline and stipulate what our city needs and what we're going to demand from any corporation that comes here to set up shop.
What do we do to increase the tax base inside our city? Yes.
So I think the tax base issue comes back to keeping the people we have and getting more people in. We're a city that was built for over 200,000. Right now, we're right around 80,000. So we have a city that's huge. It's being supported by a much smaller group of individuals paying taxes. We're also a city that used to have phenomenal jobs. In the late 70s, early 80s, we were the highest median income per household city in the union, so probably the world. We're not that anymore. So, correct, we have to work on our tax base. Like I said earlier, we just lost another 200 people this last year. We have to create a city where people want to stay. Our young people are leaving. How do we fix that? Jobs, safety, beauty. Now let's talk about jobs, because we haven't gotten into that very deeply yet. The first thing with jobs that you got to do is sometimes people say, where do you want jobs? How do you get them? How do you get them? Well, Detroit's doing a lot better than it used to be. And part of that is because they had leadership that would get on the phone. They had leadership that would advocate for the city. I'm an advocate. I'm a lawyer. That's what I do every day. I call people. I communicate. And how you do that is you just sometimes literally pick up the phone. I'll give you an example. I've been calling local employers in the city of Flint. I look them up and I figure out how much they pay. And then I call them. This is on my time. So I'm working full time right now, but on my lunches and as I have time, I'm calling them and asking them, what would it take to make sure you are getting Flint City people good Flint City jobs? And they'll tell me, and they've been very open to sharing what they want from individuals, what they like from the city. And a lot of times what I'm getting from those folks is we'd like our young people maybe have this skill or that skill. So I started calling the trade schools. I said, hey, this company pays good money, $40 an hour, something like that. What do we have to do to make, what do we have to do to make sure you get your students hooked up with them? And we were trying to arrange hiring channels to where if you go to a Flint City trade school, you know you can get hired by a Flint City employer who pays good wages. There's a lot of work we can do, but let's start simple. Get on the phone and make the connection.
Thank you.
Yes, what we need to do to increase the taxpayers' dollars?
So, thank you for repeating it. So, one thing, Flint should be a vibe. It should be a vibe like Detroit. When my daughter's 30, my child is 35, they finished inside her husband. They moved to Detroit. Why? Because they felt
I'm on my best behavior.
it was small business growth.
Doing all right.
There were things that in the neighborhood revitalization, I want to make sure that those dollars that we get reach further into the neighborhoods. Make sure that residents actually see. We got almost $1 billion coming to Flint, and no one has felt it in Flint. And that's a problem for me. We want to bring people, we lower crime. I have a comprehensive public safety plan. And day one, I'm implementing, not devising, we're going to work. Number two, people want to come first. You got to trust the water. I don't trust the water. When you trust the water and our infrastructure, you have to complete our infrastructure. We have administrative consent orders that are on this list of projects, and guess what this administration did? Didn't handle the money right. That's why they took over service lines. Service lines are not complete. We got to finish those projects, let people know the water's safe, you can trust it, lower crime, make it a vibe. Make sure we invest in small businesses. We want people to feel safe when you're downtown. We want people to feel safe if you want Clyde Road. We need to make some of these small business districts so that people have a place to go, not just downtown. I want you to have some place to go all around town. And then let's not forget, our state senators, elected officials, I met with those who were running, and I said, Flint's first, and I held forums. And I'm going to be at the front of every line saying, we need your dollars, your time to push that money to Flint. Flint needs to be Michigan's #1 priority. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have time for one more question, and then we'll go to closing remarks. This question is actually going to start with Mr. Owens. How long have you been a resident of the city of Flint? What have you done since being a resident?
So I've been a Flint City resident for a little over 2 years. My wife and I grew up in Southwest Michigan. Born in Indiana, my dad was a minister, so we moved around quite a bit. I moved to the area about 8 years ago for a job offer. Planned to be here for a year. That was in Davidson. Planned to be here for a year, and then ended up, my wife and I met, got married. Her sister moved in the city of Flint, so we moved in the city of Flint to be close to them. After moving to the city, I worked hard. I'm a pretty normal person. I work a lot of hours. I work on my house and try to be a good neighbor to my neighbors and help people out. We donate to several Flint area charities and volunteer at certain things. The thing that made me want to run is when I realized, because of my profession, what I do every day, advising Michigan communities how to run, is when I realized our people are getting shafted every time the administration shows up to work. The money's not being handled correctly. It's not being handled honestly. And there's absolutely no interest in hearing from the people. I'll leave you with this final thing. I might actually end on time on this one. When I become mayor, we're going to have monthly town halls where you can come talk to the mayor. Right now, you've got a problem with the mayor. People end up having to go and yell at council. And that's not right. If you've got a problem, a lady I'm helping right now, her water bill was doubled. Went down to City Hall 3 times. Nobody would, everyone just said, call the customer service line. She kept calling the customer service line. No one would answer her. She had no recourse. She had no appeal. And there's no ombudsman because it's not a priority for the administration. And she couldn't get to the mayor because there was no town hall to make it easy. We're going to have town halls so we can have communication. That's what my campaign has been about, communicating and hearing from you. Because if there's no communication, the administration has no idea what your concerns are, it cannot serve you correctly. Communication is foundation.
Thank you. What have you done since being a
Well, I was born at Hurley, so shout out to everybody born at Hurley Hospital. So I went to Pierce Elementary. I went to Whittier and I went to Central, and it was nice to be at the groundbreaking to see there's going to be a new life for Central. Although I like saving historical buildings, it just, I'm excited about this. I'm excited. I'm a Flintstone. People even at conventions, people say, don't talk to her about Flint, it's just not going to go good. So when you love Flint, people understand that you wear it as a badge of honor, and I do. What have I done for Flint? I could have done a lot of other things. Council is not a well-paying job, I'm gonna let you know that. You gotta do it because you love it. And when you love it, you do it, and you care about it. I care about the people. I decided to run for public office. What we make in 1 year, I made in 1 week. That is the honest to God truth, and that would have been a bad week. And so when my commitment to Flint is that I want other children to grow like I did. When I walk down the street with my grandparents on Warrington, it's not the same walk anymore. It's not. I could walk down the street to Warrington, swing a left on Connect Street, walk by the park, and make it up to Quality Market to buy penny candy. You can't do any of that now. It's not the same walk anymore. And so what have I done? I wrote a reckless driving ordinance with my colleagues and passed it overwhelmingly. Why? I live off of Ballinger. And off of Ballinger, we know there's a speed problem. Now we've had 5 people hit by cars, 4 have died. When I wrote the reckless driving, only 2 people at that point had passed away, but 3 people have been hit. And so I stay engaged. There is no greater honor than it is just to serve the people. I take calls 24/7, even at 1 o'clock in the morning. If you got an emergency, they know. And they got FaceTime the other day about a nuisance fire. And she FaceTimed me in my pajamas.
Well, I was born and raised here. Like I told you before, I went right here to Stewart Elementary. I live on Main Street, right down in front of the school. Originally lived in Park Mountain Apartments, and then we moved to Main Street. I went to Whittier and on to Central, and then after I went away to college, I came back and I met my husband, and we just made a conscious decision that we wanted to buy a home and live here in Flint and raise our family here in Flint, because we wanted to be a part of helping the city to thrive again. And so that's what we've done over the last 30 years. I've worked as a prevention worker, trying to address teen suicide, teen pregnancy rates. I've worked as a service coordinator for early on. And while I was doing that job, I've done that job twice. The second time was after the water crisis. And so I was charged with assessing and doing developmental testing with all the children who had been exposed to lead in the water. I've also been a pastor. And during the time while I was serving as pastor, the water crisis happened. I had to reach out to organizations throughout the city and nationally to bring in water, to do water giveaways. We did food giveaways. I worked with the health department to plan vaccination clinics at our church. And my whole life and career have been about serving children and families right here in our city. Okay. So a little more time. So the other things I've done is, like I said, I raised my 3 sons here. We have a whole life and a model really because my parents modeled for me. My father was a minister at my church right over here on the 12th and Kenilworth. And so they just raised us with a commitment to service. And so our whole life, my kids' whole life, they learn nothing but trying to help the community, serving their neighbors, giving away food, at food giveaways, just in whatever job, whatever way we are needed, whether it's shoveling snow for a neighbor, or just checking in on seniors to make sure they're okay. That's just a part of my DNA.
last question, we stand as 1 minute for a closing statement. And then when they finish, we're going to transition, so they give out approximately 30 minutes. City council members, city council chance, excuse me, if you could, go back to the waiting room and the waiting act. And then we go into our closing
go to my social media page, I'm open and transparent. And I believe in transparency because this is the least transparent administration I have ever seen. And that's one of the things I want to do, is restore trust and confidence in our local government, because that's important. All of you are important. You shouldn't have to get, I had a lady tell me she had to get 1,000 signatures to be able to speak to the mayor. That's not enough. I mean, that's too much. Let me say that, it's too much. I will have an open door house. It's time for change. I want to be able to implement my comprehensive public safety plan, my opioid plan, my neighborhood revitalization plan. It's time for a change. And I've started the work. I'm asking for your vote and support to help me to complete it. We need to move Flint forward in a positive way, because right now I've never seen we regress. That's the time. Thank you.
All right, in closing, I just want to share that my campaign is rooted and grounded in three principles: transparency, integrity, and unity. I would love the opportunity to serve as mayor of the city of Flint so that I can begin to address some of the systemic problems that we face that are tied to poverty and racism. My whole of government prevention program would address all of the things, all the underlying causes of the symptoms that we're seeing in our city, with the young people all the way to not being able to attract residents or businesses here. So if we work together, right, I can't do this by myself. If we work together, we will make Flint safer. By implementing a comprehensive community safety initiative, we will make Flint strong. By creating community hubs and neighborhood programs to support youth, seniors, and immigrants, we will make Flint accountable with a mayor's office and a city hall that are respectful, responsive, and transparent. We will.
My name is Mikhail Owens, and the reason why I'm running is I want to bring back competent and caring leadership to Flint. Competent. I'm an attorney, I do municipal law. I tell Michigan governments how to run every day. I'm not the elected official. The elected official comes to me to ask, how should we run our municipality? And that's where I come in. I know how to run a municipality. That's why I want to step up to the job. So I'm competent. The most important thing is I'm caring. I told you, I am running because I believe in the greatness of Michigan and I believe in the greatness of Flint. I grew up hearing about how good Flint was, and then when I moved here, I realized it wasn't where it was when I was a kid. Like I said, my dad's family moved up from Eastern Kentucky to Michigan to have a better life, to make their dreams come true with good jobs, union jobs in Michigan. My wife, her sister, my brother-in-law are from South America in the Caribbean. They moved to Michigan, and I want them to see, moved to Flint, and I want them to see, have that same experience that my grandparents had, that their dreams are made true by moving to our city. Vote for me, and we'll do it.
Before you ask it, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't listen to the important question. Luckily, here you can, so we're gonna pivot. And everybody else is the best of our city. So I do have one very important question. Right now, Edison are frequently being discussed as economic development. What benefits and challenges do you see that as bringing to Flint, including impact on jobs, tax revenue, energy use, water resources, infrastructure, and neighborhood quality of life? Under what conditions do you support or oppose the downtown project? We're going to give you 2 minutes to respond to this.
Little dude.
All right, there's a lot to say on this topic. At this point, you know, it was 2 weeks ago, council voted to have a 12-month moratorium on land use or any bids or, contracts to even entertain the idea of allowing a data center to come here at this point. And so I think that was a wise decision. I support that. I mean, at this point, there's still a whole lot that we don't know. the data centers, will they really bring the jobs that they are promising? From what I've seen, it only takes a few people to operate a data center, but it can lead to a lot of repercussions for your community in terms of, the amount of water that's needed to keep the systems cool. The noise is another factor. A young lady shared with me a video, and there was a gentleman who was right across, his house was right across the street from the data center. There's a loud humming in the air, and that's 24/7, right? So people are moving out of that neighborhood. And a lot of other cities who have data centers there are finding that they are not living up to the hype, all the things that they promised they were going to do. So I think it's wise to pause, to take time to have the city planners and mayor's office, city council to study this issue so that we don't rush and make a bad decision, because our city has been through too much. And so we cannot play with the health and the safety of our residents. That comes first. Yes, we need jobs, but we also have to ensure that people are going to be taken care of.
So data centers are a new use that's coming up in Michigan, and this is an issue that we're dealing with in all of the municipalities that I represent. My approach to any new use like this is you have to do it carefully. There are a lot of beneficial promises that come with data centers, but there's also a great opportunity for danger with them as well. It's a totally new use. It's new technology. Most people don't understand the ins and outs of it. The risks with them are huge. They use an insane amount of energy. They use an insane amount of water. Some of them 30 to 50 million gallons every couple of days. It's incredible. They are a use that could potentially, if we're being honest, could have some benefits. Could help with taxes. Could help depending on where they're hooked up and how it's done. Could help with water bills. However, it is a brand new use. And I actually went to council and I spoke and I advocated for a moratorium to be passed, which I've told every single municipality that I represent to do. Why? Because we need to have the experts advising us on this, so that we're not just being people saying, nope, we don't want to move forward, but at the same time evaluating what are the risks. We need to protect our people. And like Ms. Womack was saying, probably the video I think she's referring to is from a city that's near where my parents live up in Southwest Michigan. And yes, the sound's there. It's terrible if you live next to it. And why that's so important, and the reason why a moratorium is so important, because a moratorium puts a pause on any new applications so that the city can craft ordinances, because the law doesn't let you zone entire uses out. Michigan law doesn't let you do that. But what you do is you get ahead of the curve and you create an ordinance that protects your residents. So that way you're not violating, because if you're violating Michigan law, what they do is a big entity like a data center will sue you, and they have such deep pockets, you can't find them, they'll roll you over. I mean, this is Microsoft, Jeff Bezos, those guys. So what you do is you need to have a good ordinance in place. And that's where my competence comes in. We got to get ahead of data centers.
Thank you. And to go from, I appreciate being amongst people who are passionate about it, but we have to be honest with that. So I want to say this, data centers, we need to further look into them. We did pass the moratorium. I received our council agenda at 7:30. That prior on Tuesday, Wednesday, we had to vote, and everyone voted, but some votes were not. Let me say this, Tommy Burns is not taking any PAC money from no one. There's no Ashley Capital PAC money on any of my campaign finance reports. I owe everything to the people. That's who funded me. That's who funded me. And so when we look at this, I can honestly say when I'm doing this, I'm doing what is in the best interest. That Buick site is where my father worked at. So I know what his grandfather worked at. And so I know what Buick City is. Now, would it be a good site if we were to have a data center? Yes, because the infrastructure is there. I worked in economic development for the city of Clinton. If there were a perfect site, it would be that site because of the utilities. We can also sell up Mr. Owen State. There's a pipe there that we can sell 30 million gallons of water. No problem. But what we have to look at, how does it affect our environment? How does it affect our health? And so what we should have is like a consultant. I did a forum yesterday with Dr. Brandy Brown, and she educated us. And this, you should be requesting for Ashley Capital, who owns that site, that before you bring a site, we need you to hire Dr. Brandy Brown. That's what we need. And so when we talk about how do we keep our community safe, we need to make sure that when they're building it, is it going to be safe? When we look at right across the street, people live here. Right now, it's not. We need this 12 months to make sure is this good for Flint. And if it's not, then we need to make sure that we put resolutions, ordinances, which is laws, in place to protect the people. Protecting the people is number one. But there are people out here being bought up, I'm telling you, and they're buying them up for breadcrumbs.
I would like to thank our candidates for their well thought out responses. I'd like to thank the community for their questions and attendance. And again, I'd like to thank our hosts for putting on this event. That wraps up our mayoral forum. We have a brief intermission, and then we will reconvene. We will reconvene with the city council candidates. We will still sit. While they're doing the switch, I just want to make sure everybody knows that absentee ballot application can be back, and the information on voting in the back. So we
Winters and Rose in the same room. Family, I just have muted it because they playing music. It's not that. And you put your whole head up in here and I'm trying to talk to the people. Yeah, they can, but go on over there and let me do what I do. You don't, I know how to do it. Yeah, family. You know, they had a little music going on. I'm up here trying to be serious and report to y'all. Family, the room, the acoustics in here is terrible. But I'm finna hook this other mic up, bear with me for a second.
Can we have your attention, please? We're trying to get the second part of the show started.
That's what it is.
There's something.
Miss Lorraine. Miss Lorraine. Here I come, Miss Lorraine. I come to the queen. I come to the queen. By the time I got here,
Hello, honey. How you all? Good to see all of us. I like this exchange essence.
For sure.
and highly faithful.
So we have our candidates walking in. Let's give them a round of applause.
Y'all walk in like the choir. Y'all walk in like the church choir.
So I want you guys to keep that same energy that you had earlier. Just as a making and listening.
Man, leave me alone. Let me blow it up. LaShawn Johnson in the front beat.
So each candidate, we have 2 minutes to respond to questions. We have an official timekeeper down here, and when it's 30 seconds remaining, she'll let us know. And when it's 0 seconds remaining, she will let us know, and I will end your answers. Be respectful of each other. The candidates should conduct themselves with respect towards each other, the moderator, the organizers, and the audience. No personal attacks, inflammatory language, or disrespectful behavior is allowed. Candidates must follow the instructions of the moderator and respect my decisions regarding the flow of the forum, speaking order, and adherence to the rules. No instructions. Candidates should not interrupt each other or speak out of turn. Respectful listening is essential to fostering constructive dialogue. We're going to rotate questions to be fair. You all will get a chance for opening statements and closing statements. So again, welcome. And let's begin. For your opening statements, I want you to introduce yourself. I know your board is written on your card. Tell us what board you are vying for. And let's start from the end and work ourselves all the way down to opening statements. So start with you.
Hello, everyone. I want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I'm running for the First Ward Council. And I'm running for First Ward Council because I believe Flint deserves a sustainable community change. I grew up on the north side my entire life, from rural neighborhood to country neighborhood, and now I'm in Selby neighborhood. Things have changed since I'm in my older age, and I think we need to get back worried about my grandkids in the neighborhood. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I just think it's time for a change, and we need to step up. Our neighborhoods, we need to step up together, and it's up to us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arthur Woodson. I'm running for First Ward Councilman. I've been down here fighting since 2007. Veterans, seniors, kids, you name it. I've been fighting for all of them, not just a ward. We don't fight for the city. We don't have a ward, so it's about fighting for everyone. What I have been doing as an activist, I have ran that course. I'm running for city council because it takes it to another level. I can do what it is that I'm asking council people to do now, what I'm asking the mayor to do now. I can meet with people, I can give the residents of Flint an opportunity. It's time for us to bring jobs, it's time for us to bring businesses, it's time for us to get our health together, because we can't bring jobs if we don't have healthy people. We can't bring jobs if we don't have safety. We have to do things right, and we have to put things, non-profits, the big corporations, all that, when they're getting all the money. It's time for us to start separating and getting things together. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Audrey Young, also known as Audrey Muhammad, Sister Muhammad. I'm running for the Second Ward City Council. I am looking forward to, hopefully, you all will go out and support me. Tell your friends to tell a friend to vote for me. I have been in this fight for a long time, way before the water crisis started, but I've definitely been out here helping to fight for affordable water, helping to fight community disparities, blight, you name it. We've been out there talking about community safety. We want to decrease violence. We got to decrease violence with what? Economics. You can't take away the guns and don't give them another way to make it a solid income. You got to find a way to do it. So we got to work on our local economics. We got to work on small businesses. And I'm here looking forward to helping to serve this community. I have been in this fight, like I say, since I was a teen and not even able to drive. I remember getting dropped off and helping somebody with their campaign by stuffing envelopes and going door to door. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is DeJuan Robinson, seeking to run and serve the 5th Ward. But like I said, though, it's definitely not about a ward. It's about moving the city forward with a vision and a purpose that includes everybody. And so I know I've been on grassroots level for a very long time. And so for me, it's more about changing the face, the trajectory of the city. It's about putting the power back to the people. I mean, we can advocate, we can be activists, we can do those things all day long, but if we don't have policies that support it, then we just continue to just scream from the outside looking in. And so my whole thing is about supporting the structure here. I believe in the city, I'm from the city. I've been out watching the transitions of this community for so long. And if I always believe in this. If you don't see something done right, then you got to look in the mirror and you got to change it for yourself. That means stepping up, doing the work. So I'm no stranger to doing the work. Whether you talk about working with youth, addressing neighborhood revitalization, small business, things of that nature. Nevertheless, I'm here to serve the city of Flint.
All right, well, hello everybody. My name is Joel Arnold. I'm a candidate for the 5th Ward over on Mason Street. And really, why I'm running and why I'm so passionate is we deserve a city government in our community that's focused on the basics. So I may have met some of you, 10, 12 years ago when I was working in the city's blight office, managing neighborhood cleanup work, taking blight calls, talked to about 4,000 residents a year who used to have that job. And what I was always hear is they didn't necessarily want a city government that was going to solve every problem in the world, but they wanted a city government that they felt listened, And they want a city government that solve the things that city government is responsible for, whether that's blighted properties or streets that aren't getting repaired or street lights. And we need a council that's focused on it. That's not focused on interpersonal disagreements or personality clashes, but it's focused on how do we serve our residents that are calling City Hall, calling council members, and asking for help and asking for support. So that's what makes me passionate about running and serving my neighbors. I'm excited to get the chance to talk about it here tonight. But again, my name is Joel Arnold, a candidate in the 5th Ward. I'm looking forward to tonight's forum. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Dodson. I'm a small restaurant owner of the 5th Ward. I'm currently running to represent the 5th Ward. Over the last decade now, me and my brother have been working. We work with every arm of the government to see our small business come to fruition. And we would like to see those same pieces expand, not just downtown, but to the rest of the city of Flint. We heard it all opening a health food restaurant in Flint. Why do that? Why would you want to do it in Flint? And me and my brother looked at each other and said, why not? We deserve healthy food, we deserve small businesses, we deserve public safety that listens to the concerns of the people and reacts accordingly. And so I'm also a reserve deputy for the Sheriff's Department as well. So I'm very hands-on. The Portable came as a fruition to bring small business here. I got involved with public safety where I have a hands-on change in my community, and that's what I look to bring to the 5th Ward. Thank you.
What's going on, everybody? Well, I'm running for 7th Ward in December. Grew up here in Flint. Went to school in Beecher. I definitely understand. Never would say that I'm a saint in situations just like Flint. I feel like I'm just like Flint. We've been talking about it, been bashed. They give me better representation. People actually been there, done that, and then was able to move forward in life. We're not acting like, we're the best of the best. But one thing we do know that we're strong. We are strong, and that's why we're Flint. No matter what happens, we're going to move forward. And I'm looking to work with each and every single person, whoever makes it, to do better. That's all it's about. It's about all of us. Not me, not title, not position, all of us.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Ezekiel Harris. I'm running for the 8th Ward of Flint City Council. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Flint, in Summerfield Elementary, raised at 2222 Concord Street. I'm actually at 2. The house is no longer there, but born and raised in Flint, I always loved Flint. I moved back home, Mark and I moved back to Flint about 5 years ago because we always knew that one day we would come back. I wasn't here during the water crisis, but it definitely affected my career trajectory. I've been in nonprofits, I've been in real estate development, I've been in business, and right now we have 2 kids who are part of the Flint Public Schools, and a third who will also be part of the Flint Public Schools. My family is invested here, telling me even better Flint, and I'm running for city council not because I want to be a politician, but I want Flint to be a place that my kids can grow up in, and that more people will be willing to move back home. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Maurice D. Davis, born and raised in Flint, former city council vice president. I'm going back on council to simply help the residents that I know still alive stop the gentrification. They're overtaxing everything. They're taxing us out in Mount Road. And a lot of people don't know we're in bad shape in the city. Why it's still uncorrectable? We have nobody speaking for us. Every week we see bickering on council. They never gave us our water settlement. I'm going to make sure we do a forensic audit, federally, state, or whatever, to get these folks, including myself, my money. And it's a lot of work to be done. And I'm hoping we get 6 votes on council. I'm going to show you how to really treat the residents fair. Thank you very much.
I'm a former 5th Ward City Council from 2013 to 2017. During my era in time, we wasn't dysfunctional. We was working as a unit, as a whole. My whole goal in running for City Council is giving service and addressing poverty. Poverty is the core root problem of what we're suffering from in this city. It has lowered the values, the morals, the decency in our community, and we need mass production of jobs to come into effect so that we can get masses of people off the street and bring some form of decency back into our community. I am the only one that has ever been elected in the city of Flint, Michigan that has ever brought 1,000 manufacturing jobs to Flint, Michigan. They eventually brought beer and put beer on the build site in the 5th Ward that started in 2015 and was completed in 2018. I've done that, and I will thank you for the 5th Ward City Council and watch with me.
Hello everyone, I am here and I am with the 3rd Ward Council. I am running the 3rd Ward because I'm just tired of the mess. I am a resident as well and I live in the 3rd Ward. And then my uncle was Quincy Murphy, so I have watched the former work that he has done. And I also see the problems and the issue that we face every day as well. So me, I'm out here to act like I know everything about politics because I don't. I'm a regular person like y'all, and we're gonna learn together, and we're gonna do it together, and that's why I'm on City Council.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Liddell Lewis. I am the current city council person for the 2nd Ward. Excuse my tardiness, had a family emergency. So what am I here to do? I am here to be responsible to the residents. My goal ever since I joined the council was to leave the 2nd Ward better than how I found it. And so we have done things such as the fire safety initiative. We have done things such as revitalize spaces in the park, rejuvenate our park, make it a place to go, a safe place to go for our families. And so those, amongst other things, is why I'm seeking re-election, so I can continue to do the will of the people.
Hi, my name is Beverly Meeks. I am running for the 3rd Ward City Council. I have one area. Hi, again, my name is Beverly Meeks. I am running for the 3rd Ward City Council seat. I've won the 3rd Ward City Council seat 2 times. But they choose to not put me in because they don't care that I'm one to fight for the people. I'm not fighting for no brownie points or anything. Our people is lacking because of the mere fact they have got $94 million came to the city of Flint, and none of the residents have got a dollar. It's time out for them to know what they want to do, put it in their pockets. And I'm here to fight for the people. That's what I'm here for.
Before we start with questions, we would like to recognize 4th Ward write-in general election, Tracy Frazier, 7th State Representative Candidate District, 70th District, write-in general election, Michael Platt. Their vote, And as a reminder, each candidate will get 2 minutes to respond. Timekeeper, right here, when you have 30 seconds, she will hold up the sign letting you know you have 30 seconds. And then when it's done, it's going to say 0. I'm going to start by wards, and so it's just easier to break it down that way. So we're going to start with the 1st Ward candidates, starting with Mr. Woodson. As a city council person, your responsibility is to uphold the city's charter. What is your understanding of the Flint City Charter?
My understanding of the city of Flint City Charter is that the city council is more checks and balances. We are our own entity. We are our own branch. We have the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch. We are the purse strings. We do the budget. We make the ordinances. We are there for the people. We represent our ward. It's not about what the candidate or the council person want. It's what the people in that ward want, the people of the city of Flint want. They come to us wanting roofs, things for them. So my job is to listen to the people of that 1st ward and make sure that we do what it is that they are asking for, not what I want personally. but what the people want. So we have to make sure that we're doing that. We have to make sure that the mayor, whoever it is doing what's right for the city. We have to make sure that they follow policy, law, and rules. That's the main thing that the city council is there for, is to keep and hold everybody accountable, even themselves. So my job is to represent the people of the First Ward and make sure everything is done correctly. We are following the rules, we are following the charter, we are following the law. That's what I am here for, to make sure that the people understand it's not what I want to do for you, it's what I'm going to do for you. We have to bring integrity and honesty and transparency back to the city of Flint and make sure that the people say, if I elected you, they did what they said they were going to do. That's why people do not vote, because when you vote, they don't do what they say they're going to do once they get in office. And I want to be able to show you that that's what I'm able to do for you.
I know that the charter is law, that you have to follow the law of the charter. Deborah Cohen. I'm sorry, First Ward. I know that the charter is the law, that you have to follow the law of the charter to do the right thing for the people of the city. I'm getting familiar with the charter. I'm not an authority, but I am studying. I'm making it a priority to understand it fully so I can serve properly. But I do know that I will follow the charter. I will make the right decisions for the community, for my people, for the First Ward, for the entire city. And I will bring honesty, transparency. I will just make sure I'm going to do the right thing for my people. There's a lot that needs to be done out here. I don't have no political resume, so I'm just jumping off the porch into the fire, but I'm going to fight for my people, for the right thing for my people. Thank you.
Moving along to Ward 2, starting with Mr. Davis. If you need to repeat the question, just let me know.
Well, as far as I can remember, you was asking about the charter. And when I get back downtown, first thing I would like to do once we get settled, we need to amend the city charter. I'm gonna tell you why we need to amend it. I've been there before. Elected officials is elected to do a job to represent the constituents that they represent. If you're not in your chair, how are you gonna represent somebody? So it needs to be amended that if you're not there, you don't get paid. There's so many actions. You get back off the council, get somebody in your chair, don't do it. And you there to vote hard decision. You either voted up or you voted down. Too many people are hurt now. And another thing I'd like to see amended. I would like to see amended that if we find out that the council body in or mayor, they don't live where they say they live, then the world is trouble. Ain't no time, I'm not running to waste my time. People are hurting and losing everything. We're going to be in a receivership shortly. That's what's going on. I've been there, vice president. The whole of the city of Flint lied on me to get me out of that chair. And now all my friends are in foreclosed and get unified out of here. My job is to stop it. But we can't play games. We need a council body that's going to be seated. And then I was on there and I was there for 4 years sitting next to the maintenance. Never missed a vote, never was absent. Thank you.
All right, Maurice.
Thank you. So what I understand about the charter is that the charter are the undisputed rules that govern the city of Flint. And the charter is approved by the people. And so that's why it's important for us to have an understanding. The charter discloses everything that we need to know in terms of city governance. All the way from the Civil Service Commission, which we do not have currently, down to how the mayor office operates, down to how council and the city clerk is supposed to function. And one thing that is a problem is that the charter is more optional than law. Because we witnessed that when the charter has been broken, that there's no repercussions. So I do totally agree with Mr. Davis in saying that we need some amendments because our charter needs teeth. What's the point of having rules when we have no enforcement to make sure that we follow the rules? So that's one of the things that we do need to look at as we journey into looking at the charter. But knowing the charter, the rules of our city, that's paramount to serving in the city. Thank you.
The charter, under its development, definitely need to be amended. There's so many things in there that are optional and it's up to the discretion of the city attorney. Many of the council people have helped to help interpret what they meant or they thought it meant by each one of those things. Those things, everything is so vague. It's so vague, it leaves the door open that if I decide that that's not what we want, we can make it be what we want it to be. So I think there is a lot of amendments that need to be made to the charter. And there are also some things that need to be followed. Like we need an ombudsperson. That definitely needs to be put back in place. That's a part of the charter. No one should have the power to decide we don't need an ombudsperson. Or we need to, or they decide what it is that the ombudsperson can get because I don't want you to have it. Make that office operable and make it fair. Make it fair. Make the Ethics and Accountability Board fair. Put people on there who's going to be not held accountable because I'm your friend or I'm afraid that you will have repercussions. Make it accountable to the people. They're put there to help serve the people. And like I said, the checks and balances definitely got to happen. Just because I'm on the council and you're the mayor, don't mean that we're gonna have always agree. We don't have to agree. We have to work together, but we don't have to agree. Our agreement is what the people want, not what we want. We got to put money and things back into the people, not into our own pockets. Thank you.
Moving on to the third ward, Ms. Williams.
Hey everybody, I'm Paradise. About the charter, I believe that accountability and being transparent to our city is very important, and that has been missing for a long time. I just feel like as a representation for your ward, you gotta stand up for the people and be there for them and be their ear. Like you gotta listen to what they want and bring it back to where we at. And we should absolutely be able to work together as one instead of having to be so divided, because when we divide in the council, we divide in the residents and we make it a pick and choose type of thing. And everybody needs to be responsible and accountable for their job and exactly what they need to be doing.
My name again is Beverly Biggs Stevie. I'm running for the third ward. The charter is very important. Our council people now do not follow the charter, have not followed the charter in a long time. And I don't know a lot about the charter, but I'm learning the charter. But we need to get focused. We start council at 5 o'clock, and if they don't have enough people up there, they still call to order. You should not call to order unless you have 5 people on them chairs. If 5 people are not in the chair, it should not be called to order for council, and they do that to keep us not to sign in to be able to speak what we need to speak for the council. And it's so important that our people be able to speak and feel what they feel, and they cut us out. That's what I know, right? And at this time, thank you.
So like many folks have said up here already, the charter is our city's constitution, and this is the guiding document I know it pretty well. I was actually an employee in City Hall when the Charter Revision Commission was doing its work, and so I remember watching it very closely because it impacted my job every day. But a couple of things that I do want to agree with, when we do need a fully funded and staffed ombudsperson's office, that office's point is to make sure our residents are getting the services they deserve out of City Hall. There's a reason it's in the charter, there's a reason we voted it in. So we got to make sure that we fund those positions, and we also got to make sure that our charter does have teeth so that when it's violated, it doesn't become a footnote in meeting minutes, but that there are responsibilities and consequences to people violating our city's constitution. So our charter is an incredibly important document, right? It's written so that you, not politicians, but that residents of our city are the ones who govern Flint. And if elected, I promise to be very adherent to that document because we all spent time shaping it and voting on it and not in the distant past. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely agree. The city charters are guiding rules of effort, just like a nonprofit follows bylaws. It's a rule of order. So, of course, the city charter is vital to the progression of the city. And so when we have violations taking place, such as we're saying right now, we don't have ombudsmen. What we do need some parameters in place to get that done. We have an ethics and accountability board that has to be, we have to place members on that board to be able to get a ombudsman, right? So it's those different processes that we have to go and get ensured that we are following the bylaws, but we are following city charter, but we are making a difference to serve the city. I think one thing too, for sure, I think it's about, we talk about effective local governance. We have people that's from city council, but also folks need training. That's the main thing. There's dollars allocated in a budget for training for city council to be able to understand how to function and operate. So, all in all, we may have some mistakes with, the current city charter. I was a part of the commission as well. But I just think that, we have to have folks who are dedicated to following that, following procedures, and if there's some things that we need to correct, then we can work on it together and ensure that we do have a functioning city charter. That's one thing I'm definitely committed to when we talk about effective local governance. Thank you.
The charter is the governing body, the governing rules of city council. But one thing in the charter that will never be omitted, and it doesn't have to be revised, as it says that we are the legislative body, not a legislative individual. So when we do get new city council in, we cannot be attacking each other, throwing requirements at each other, but we work together as a legislative body, and any disagreements that we have, we consider those and discuss those behind closed doors. That is one of the most important parts in the charter, is legislative body. That means that we have city council working together, submitting legislation, adopting budgets, and keeping all of our differences to the back burner and working together as a whole. A house divided will never stand. And that's the reason why that's enunciated in the strong manner in the charter, is that we are, and never forget, a legislative body working together for the better benefit of the residents and our board. That's what the charter is basically based on, a legislative body. Submit a budget, approving the budget, and submitting legislation. Those are the two most important parts of a city council person. If anyone don't know that, is to submit legislation and adopt the budget. Everything else is based on how we understand it, but you can never compromise with being a legislative body. Thank you very much.
My name is John Dodson. I'm working for Quick part of it. But yes, the charter should work as the chief cornerstone to the legal body that we follow. So that means that if we don't act according to the charter, people will look at us as that we're moving with lawlessness. So we have to have a code of ethics that we follow, and that is the city charter. And while I do agree that we might need amendments, but I think a important piece of that is the education piece. Going around knocking doors, many people don't feel as though they were a part of the process with the newly made charter over 10 years ago. So yeah, we do need amendments, and that it should be the chief cornerstone working together. But the important imperative piece is that make sure everyone is educated and they all feel a part of the process. And then that way people can understand, okay, this is being followed. We don't have a council that's working for the people, and then that's when we go to the ombudsman for changes. So while I do agree we need amendments, but there's a lot of people who felt left out of the process. I think it's important that we look them back in and they show that, okay, this is where we are at as a city, and we look to involve them in any future changes to legislation. Thank you.
City Council candidate. All right, so this is really simple. I've been learning, and I'm learning from them right now. It's that simple. But listen, it's something that I don't know. I'm writing it down as we speak. And I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna utilize it. One thing I do know is we have to follow it together. If one person is going off the rails, somebody got to pull that individual back in. It should be just that. It should be no bickering, no fighting. You know, I can tell you this right now. I'm not arguing with nobody. You know, especially when it comes down to the people. If we're not making everybody in this room should have a say in what's going on. So if we're going to amend this thing, y'all got to be a part of that too. Not just the people that y'all see that's supposed to be on council, but y'all go too. Because the best ideas never come from a title. It comes from the people. So I would look forward to hearing each and every single one of y'all when it comes down to changing this thing. And then utilize it. Let's execute it together. Not just us, but all of us, all of Flint. That's it.
Hey everyone, again, this is Ezekiel Harris from the 8th Ward. I've been sitting here, been in the 8th Ward, trying to figure out a new way to say things that already been said. So far, I've come up with it's our local constitution, it's our organ, it's our fuel that helps govern our city of Flint. I think one thing I do want to add, ditto, is just how important it is for us as city council members to really understand the charter, to read the charter, and to be accountable to it. To be accountable not only from the residents, but also to each other. So I agree with a lot that's already been said about the charter up to this point. I saw it yawn, so I'm going to just get there.
So, moving on to the next question. How do you view the relationship between the legislative branch and the executive branch? How do you propose to work across branches? Starting with the first ward, Ms. Coleman.
I'm Deborah Coleman, first ward. I would work between both branches, respect, honesty, transparency, trustworthiness. I'm not knowledgeable about the branches, but once I do my research, I'll be able to get more information. But what I will do, I will work together. I will work with the people to understand what's going on. The trustworthiness and, you know, compassion, and just work on my city and do the right thing.
Arthur Wilson, First Ward. Let's start off by saying that I'm already working with the administration when we have to bring in NMQL for the health resource fair, working with them as far as light in the First Ward throughout the city. It's about, I don't have to like you personally, but if you're working for the people, I want to stand with you. It's not about having personal issues or personal feelings. It's about what we can do to move Flint forward. How can I assist the people and not take personal shots at people and do all the different things, bickering and all this. I don't have time for that. But at the same time, I follow laws, I follow rules, I follow procedures. And if that's not being done, I'm going to say something. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to let people know this is what's going on. But behind all that, I have a solution, and I'm working on that solution along with everybody else. So it's about working together, but at the same time doing it the right way. Making sure that the people are good first, not myself, not my feelings, not my personal feelings. It's about helping the people. It's about giving the people opportunity. It's about giving the people equity. It's about giving the people equality. It's about making sure that people are happy. about making sure that they're not able to check to check. It's making sure that the kids are able to eat at night. It's about making sure that Flint is done and served right by what I need to do with my duty as a city council person. Thank you.
With us working together, we have to work together. It's no choice. There is no choice. In order for the people to succeed, the legislative and the executive branch have to find common ground and learn to work together. Unity. That's what we talked about yesterday. Unity being more powerful than the atomic bomb. And in order for us to move forward, we got to be unified. Now, I'm also a transparent person. Don't call me in for no private little sneaky meetings. Call me in with several people in the meeting so that way we can be transparent. You can't go back and say I said nothing. I can't go back and say you said nothing. We got a witness. Always remember that anytime you conduct your business. Always have either a recording or someone else there to be a witness. Because there is no backdoor stuff. That's how you set up dissension amongst the people in the community and the other folks that you're working with on the council or in the executive branch. I don't believe in that. So I'm being transparent. Don't call me in for the one-on-one. We're gonna always have a witness there. But you gotta work together. You gotta find a common ground to work on. Not taking no sneaky deals, not selling your people out. Just sitting there, talking straight up transparency, making sure that the people are always informed on what is going on and making sure that they are up to date. We gotta learn to build trust. You cannot build trust in others if you look like you're doing something that's deceptive. Working in that one-on-one always look deceptive. Thank you.
Dr. Lewis?
Well, first we must understand that we work with administration and not for administration. That must be clear. Next, we must understand that, we had a panel before this panel. You gotta understand that whoever is elected to the mayoral seat, whoever is elected to that seat, whether they are your friend, your foe, you must be willing to work with them for the betterment of the people. It can't be council versus administration. We must stick to it, the guns that we're saying today. How we're for the people, we're moving the best interests of the people. Well, while we do that, we may have disagreements with administration, but it is our job to maintain professionalism and also do what's, like I said, unpopular. We must work together. It's been several times that I've witnessed individuals will give you flack for working with administration. But that is exactly what we are elected to do. So just keeping those things in mind, who you work for the people, who you work with, everyone that is interested in moving the city of Flint forward should be your responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And the question, I want to make sure I articulate it halfway properly. Work with the executive branch as well as the legislative branch. I've been down there. And this is a lot harder than people really realize. Because this is political season. People say anything to get elected. And I'm going to say this. I watch Tanya and them right now currently. A lot of people remove because they want to do more civility on council. We see how that worked out. They claim it was Mays. It was not Mays. You got to have a body that's, I claim you're hell-bent on helping residents. They down there, the legislative branch is to make the city of Flint money. I'm going to repeat, the city money. The council people is supposed to be representing the wards. The mayor all 9 wards. Now, what need to happen is this, I seen the budget. There was no line item budget there. They just send little PowerPoints and you just take it. No. and then he wanted Tanya and them to go down to his office. We need a real mayor. We better get it right this time. See, a lot of people play games. I'm not here to play games. I don't want nobody nothing but the love. But Flint, you finna get gentrified out of here. And I'm telling you with all I got. Our water support, and they talking about these data centers, we gotta get it right. We got a chance. It seems like a nice body of people and niggas tend to want to work together. But the thing of it is, that mayor's office ain't nowhere in the world. I'm elected, they're elected. We got to go get permission to get documents out of anywhere. We're elected to represent the people. And that's all I'm gonna say right now, but there's a lot of work to be done. Thank you.
All right, Marie.
Mrs. Diggs.
I'm here to work with anybody. I don't have no favoritism, and I ain't taking no money. I'm here to do the job for the people, and that's my whole goal. Been my goal from day one. I watched these council people talk to us like we're dogs. You will not talk to me like I'm a dog, and I will not treat you that way. But if you're doing something that ain't right, I'm gonna call it out. You might not like me for that, but my job is to call out when you're doing wrong. When you're doing right, we have no problem. It's one thing about me. If I gotta tell a lie, I ain't gonna say nothing. Because I don't have time, because you gotta keep up with the lies. I'm here to work with everyone, not just the first ward, but all 9 wards, and anybody else. My goal is for the people, and it will always be for the residents of Flint.
Hello guys, I'm here guys, and I'm just gonna keep it very short and simple because it's not that hard. We supposed to work together, that's that, I don't care who in what position. Everybody needs to be responsible and be adults. Like we don't take all the bickering, the unnecessary conflict. I'm not with that. Guess what? We need to get to a solution. If it ain't got a solution at the end of it, it's irrelevant. So I'm not with the petty stuff, I'm not with the unnecessary drama, I'm not doing none of it, period. I'm not doing it. We need a solution. So we gotta be divided to get a solution. That's not the solution. The solution is all of us working together, legislative and executive, the mayor and the council. It's your job to work together and figure out a solution for the city of Flint. That's it, that's all.
John Dotson, 5th Ward. So first of all, we currently have a strong arm mayor system. So the vision of the mayor is very important. So whoever sits in that seat, the directives they follow, we work as a check and balance to that. So it's very important. Especially we're still coming off a mayor that has emergency powers. So all of that makes for it can make for a very beautiful thing, or it can set us back. I think it should get to the point where it should be 6 votes. It shouldn't be a constant split. It shouldn't be a constant rift between. It should just be business. Okay, it's 4 residents, 6 votes is passed. Anything besides that needs to be deliberated. But I think once the citizens' needs are put first, no matter who's in the mayor's seat, the records that come from the council make sense, and then we should pass it forward. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson.
Okay, Duane Robinson, 5th Ward. First, we talked about the state of the current city council, the legislative branch and the executive branch. This is, I mean, not to be sugarcoating anything, like we have some troubles. We have troubles, right? You don't even have to live in the city of Flint to understand we have problems with it. But nevertheless, I think that's something, because if we don't take the time out to understand the role and position while we're here and doing it for constituents and doing the work for the people that live in the city, then it comes from your own ideologies. And so if you're upset with somebody, if you're angry, you don't like, this person personally, then that gets in the way of how you vote and how you support. It's like you said, we kind of always have a split between 4 or 5. It's like the family's 5 or it's the other 4, right? And we've seen that in these last 2 setups with city council. So, I mean, we got to have this understanding for us as people. For one, it's not about you. Remove the egos, right? But at the end of the day, you work for the people that put you in position. And for 2, we have to really say, like, okay, we all have a vested interest in moving the city forward. And it shouldn't just be six, it should be all 9 boards, all 9 members working together to say, okay, I believe in this, I believe in this investment, I believe in this will benefit the neighborhoods, not just downtown. I think this is going to make a difference for not just what we live in today, but for future generations to come. You understand? We're not doing the work for today. We build out our future. So we're in a particular situation right now, and it's very vital. So for me, I'm always willing to work alongside with folks. I might got some adversaries in the room right now. At the end of the day, it's about, it's not about that. How can we work together? And if we need to go in the back room and have a conversation, we can do that too.
Mr. Davis. Yes, you asked the question about legislative and executive. Legislative is one who submits law. That's what city council do. Executive is one who enforces the law. This is where I look at, and this is why we should answer the questions properly. City council enforces the law. City council submits the law, approves the law. Police department, fire department enforce the law. Police department, fire department is a part of the executive branch. The mayor, his department is a part of the executive branch. What city council is supposed to do is to make sure that everybody is in accordance to what we have submitted. Our legislation shall always be paramount and it shall always be enforced. And this is how we have a good relationship with the executive branch to make sure that the executive branch is doing exactly what we propose and what we admit and what we submitted and adopted. This is the difference, because a lot of people can hear when you ask that question, when you say legislative branch and executive branch, and don't understand what you're saying. We have to educate the people. This is what a city council person should always do, is educate the residents, educate the people, so that the people don't be acting on pure emotions and pure feelings. They act on the education that has been administered to them. This is what we should do. And so I take the initiative to educate everybody. If it takes me an hour sitting at your door, and you done told me you would vote for me 20 minutes ago, I spend the other 40 minutes just educating. So this is what we should know. So when we are asked the questions, we should answer the questions properly, because we have residents in the audience that don't understand those questions. And so legislation is submitting law. City council, our legislative body, we submit law. We approve law. 5 to 4, the majority always rule. That law is submitted, is pushed to the executive branch for them to enforce it. If they don't enforce it, then we go other measures to make sure that they enforce it. So this is the difference. Legislative, executive. One submits the law, one enforces the law. Thank you very much.
All right.
Joel Arnold, 5th Ward candidate. Listening to all this, the words that come to my mind of the relationship between our legislative and our executive branch is really collaboration and accountability, right? Now, if there's a good idea that's coming out and we can work together on that, let's collaborate. Let's see how we can get to yes. Now, many times there aren't ways to get to yes, but what we should never do as a body is dislike an idea or an opinion or a vision solely because of the person who holds it. And we see that a lot right now on our council and in our city government. You may have the greatest idea in the world, but I didn't like something you did 3 weeks ago, so now I'm not going to support your idea. I'm not running for city council being middle school, trying to act like adults and make progress for our city. But then I think on the flip side is this accountability point, where the power of the council, whether it's our power of subpoena or the power to adopt and enforce a budget, power to approve spending, that's where we have to make sure as a body we're holding the executive branch accountable. So I think if members go in with a sense that we're here to collaborate and try and advance our city, and at the same time, if there's bad behavior, we have powers of accountability, we'll get a lot more done.
Earl Ross, I'm more city council candidate. Okay, you've heard a lot of great stuff, and it's all right. Everything that I've heard is true. When it comes down to accountability, we have to hold the executive part of that accountable. If we don't, look at what's going on today. I mean, either we're gonna lie and say that it's been great, guys. If it was great, we wouldn't have 3 people running. If the council was perfect, we wouldn't have people running. So it's simple. But whether you like it or not, if you get in there, you're gonna have to work with it. It's a lot of things where we do have egos in the way. And you can see that. You can see the issues with people. Instead of looking at them, we gotta find ways to come to, again, what Arnold said, yes. Because it's not for us, it's for the people. We have to keep it about the people. So I have a slogan. So no parties, no games, just the people. If it's not about the people, what are we talking about? If we're not keeping it about the people, we should just all quit. What are we doing right now? We should just end this thing and just leave. We have to keep it about you guys, and we're included because we live here. We have to stop allowing people to come in and then run us because we can all tell who's doing back home deals, can't we? Raise your hand if you can tell me somebody's doing a back home deal. Come on now, don't be shy. Because you've all said it. Why? Because I've talked to a lot of you about it. We've seen it. So we're going to hold the mayor accountable, for sure. Now, until the new mayor comes in. So I'm watching, I'll talk to each, mayoral candidate. I'm going to hold you accountable. We're going to hold you accountable. This isn't a game. I'm tired of playing games with people. Because we are losing at this game. People are coming in and they are running us. And they think we're weak, and I know that we're strong. Let's come out and show them that we're strong. So we're going to need y'all. And we're going to work not just with the executive, but also with the people as well. Because I'm running so y'all can be y'all thing though too. The seat is for y'all, not for me.
Mr. Harris?
Could you repeat the question for me?
Yes. How do you view the relationship between the legislative branch and the executive branch? How do you propose to work across branches?
Thank you. So again, I never wanted to be a politician. But when I came back, I watched and waited and saw how much fighting and bickering was happening at our city council. And for me, thinking about the relationship between the executive and legislative branches, for me, that's the fun part of the job. For better or worse, I always believe the best. Whenever someone said anything, I like to approach it with a great amount of empathy. And prior to even considering running on council, I built a lot of relationships within city government. I worked with Fairfield Neighborhood Association to help them go about renovating the tennis courts. I worked with Good Laundry when Murphy was a council member and helped get resources into on the north side to build a laundromat out there. So for me, I think there's a real opportunity to really think about one, not only holding mayoral candidates or mayor accountable, but also how do we think about, or how do we go about being supportive of different initiatives? Because there's so much money, there's so much opportunity out there for the city of Flint that we're currently missing out on because of this divide that's happening between our organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question. How do you plan to work with law enforcement and community organizations to ensure public safety? Starting with Ward 1, Mr. Wilson.
For those of the first ward, let's start off by saying Deontay Brown, Montez Brown, they're the owners of the new bar downtown Levels. And the reason why I say this is because we had a meeting with the law enforcement. I'm not even a city council person, but we had a meeting with you and city of Flint and the sheriff department.
They won't even ask
We
me
have
my
had
questions.
3 weekends, consecutive
They told me I was
weekends.
using up all the
A
hurt.
little bit of trouble, but at the same time, we have had a ball every time. We have had lawn chairs outside late at night. It's about sitting down with them, coming up with a plan, coming up with solutions, and figuring out what it is that we need to do as residents and also as what they need to do as law enforcement.
I bet you they
It's
don't
about
ask all
working
the
together.
damn questions.
One of the things that we're saying, bickering on is, people have to understand, you need independent thinkers. You need a person that's running to help the people, not help their cliques, not help corporations, not help this certain interest group over here. You need an independent thinker. But when you have people on council that's running as a clique, when you have people supporting others that's cliquish, you're going to have this bickering. You're going to have all these different things going on. But until you start listening to what the people are saying, you might not like the messenger, but you got to listen to what they're saying, the message. It's about what they plan on doing and what they have done already. It's not about learning as you go. It's about knowing what's going on already. How have we worked in the community with law enforcement? How have we worked in the community with land bank, businesses, all these other different things? What is that individual's record right now? What have they done before? Where did they come from? Well, how have they helped others in the community? Look at their resume that they have already instead of letting allow them to build a resume already.
Coleman, first ward. Can you repeat that question for me, please?
How do you plan to work with law enforcement and community organizations to ensure public safety?
Well, that's most definitely one of the things that I want to do, to work with the law enforcement. The gang and the gun violence that's plaguing our neighborhoods has not made a safe place for us. It has not made a safe place for us, and we are in a time where we're scared to even sit in our living rooms, worrying about gunshots coming in your house or coming home and you being in the middle of a shootout. I want to talk with them because, we need a public safety plan, that improve the community. We need new police strategies, community engagement with our neighbors. We need resources, allocations, we need rehabilitation efforts, we need a lot of things. So I want to work with them. And I truly want to work with them because I want to bring my ideas to make my ward safe and for the whole city. Thank you.
See you later.
Sorry, second ward. Dr. Lewis.
He's in trouble.
Can you repeat the question again?
How do you plan to work with law enforcement and community organizations to ensure public safety?
Okay, so a few things that I have already done. First, I participated in the state in building up the block initiative. This initiative where they went from neighborhood to neighborhood, and a lot of them had community events in the park to get residents engaged. So that's one of the things that I do. The other thing, which will be coming out very soon, is seeing that we have people who have been victim of violence in their homes, creating the violence impact from it, and it is going to help individuals that have been impacted by violence. So, say if you had your home shot up, you will have a place to safely relocate. And you'll be able to get different services that you need of people responsible to government. As well as I go into the schools throughout the city of Flint, and I talk about the importance of positive engagement with our public safety personnel, in addition to encouraging the young people, as well as other residents, to join our public safety personnel. Because the way to solve the problem is to be a part of the solution. So I've done lots of things in my tenure with the sheriff's department as well, and also partnering with, I was a part of the touch a truck of those events. So I do a lot. And so when you say, what am I going to do? I'm going to continue to do what needs to be done. When residents bring me ideas, because that's where the human ingenuity comes from. They hold all the answers. When they bring me ideas, it's my job to work with them to put it into fruition. So I look forward to doing what I'm doing and multiplying it by more. Thank you.
Mr. Davis.
Okay, the question was dealing with law enforcement. That's very easy. Get rid of the mayor, because he controls the law enforcement. And everything he's doing is violent. You need a strong police chief that's competent, like when Mayor Weaver was pushing, Mayor Weaver had Attorney Johnson. You need a real competent police chief. Why would I say that? We got all this technology, flock cameras, 230 some shots in one house, cultivated. Nobody really, it might have stopped. But in Flint Township, they got them before they got home. But the disrespect they did is till this day, the law enforcement harass senior citizens in their own house at the council chamber. We need somebody that's going to respect the residents. We need a whole lot of changing done. And now with the crime, how they going to solve crime? They don't have the competence. They have to be under training. They don't respect us. I seen in Juneteenth how they ran people out of downtown like roaches. That's not respect. We got a lot of work to do with this law enforcement. But it starts with a council that really has the wherewithal to understand. We got to make sure the residents is first and whatever they concern is. It's not like that right now. It's so disrespectful with that man that's down there now. It has to be changed. And we got to have people with the backbone to stand up and say, no, we don't repeat this. You got to put the residents first. Crime. Kids need money. When I graduated high school, I went to the shops. They need game for employment. That's going to bring down crime. You can't work and do that and game banging at the same time. It's how you can send somebody away all the time home. That's what they face. They're getting poisoned by the water with no compensation. We got a lot of work to do, and I appreciate you for indulging.
All right.
Okay, this goes without mentioning. Law enforcement, first of all, they have to take accountability and to then work with the community. We need to work together, break down the barriers that divide us. They can't always think that everybody that walks in the room is a crook. And we can't always think that every cop that walks in the room is gonna bust us upside our head. I'm gonna just tell you, I took some training through Captain Dennis Muhammad some years ago, where he did the training to help break down the barriers between the two, the community, the law enforcement, and then us in the room together. It helped us to understand better where we each come from. That is very important for us. I went to that one community meeting where Sergeant Spann, and I can't remember the other young lady, talked about the gang violence. If we don't know the signs of the gang violence, we can't combat the gang violence. Family members, parents, teachers, educators, everybody in the community must know the signs of the gang violence. It's very important. You don't know if your child walking in here part of the gang because he does his signs and we don't know it. They talk about the hybrid gangs. Sergeant Spann said he's ready to work with the community so we can know and be able to take care of that. My babies go to elementary school, my grandbabies. They got gang activity at the school. When I mentioned it to my granddaughter, she said, well, that boy did that sign to me in the classroom. This is at Brownell. Yes. So we have to know, and then the teacher said we want to know what it is. Educators, everyone, parents, grandparents, politicians, no matter where you're at, you need to take that class or take some kind of training. Sergeant Spann is the one who said he's ready to help us to be able to combat that. And that's where law enforcement and community engagement and organizations come together. Thank you.
Mrs. Williams?
I believe that law enforcement needs to start showing up more, and they need to be in the same rooms with us so they can understand us. I feel like they come into our city, so they need to understand what we got going on here already, and not just come in escalating the situation and be more so de-escalated, and figure out a way for us to come together and have a real plan that will show a solution of not just throwing kids in jail and putting them. We need a real solution, a real program with some real answers. I feel like we can get back to the part where we used to say it take a village to raise not just the kids, the youth. We gotta help each other. Everybody needs to help each other. We need to have each other back, and we need to be able to work together as a city. Like enforcement, they need to understand that we got, we do have a problem with our youth. It's serious, it's dangerous, and they need to know how to come at it correctly and not just have us, with our backs against the wall all the time. So I think that everybody got to take a role. Everybody got to play a role and how we can, you know, tackle it together. And organizations, I feel like they will be a part of this, but it's just all gotta come together. It's pieces to the puzzle, and we gotta put it together.
Law enforcement should be where, when we were in office, you see a lot of cops on the beat, not driving, but walking. They're coming and speaking with our kids, they're being involved with our children. You don't see that now. You call the police and it might be 24 hours before they come to see you. That's not law enforcement. We need to get better with working with our children, working with the people. It ain't just the children, because some adults need law enforcement to be known to say, I'm safe. You safe around me. That's what it used to be, where when law enforcement came out, you didn't feel intimidated or reckless or somebody pulling you out. Like they pulled my husband out the car for no reason at all. You didn't see that. Peaceful protests. You don't see that anymore. We need to get back into it, get the people to know that cops are not, we're not afraid of the cops and they're not afraid of us.
We're going to the fifth ward, Mr. Dodson.
John Dodson, Fifth Ward. So I've been a reserve deputy with the Genesee County Sheriff's Department for the last 4 or 5 years now. And what's important is the prerogative of leadership that's headed by Sheriff Chris Swanson. And so the leadership of the City of Clinton Police Department is headed by me as the chief. And the Genesee County Sheriff's Department, he puts a huge emphasis on community policing. The next part is the mental health aspect, because people don't choose to do crime, it's usually a result of something. So what he preaches is getting at the root cause of crime, and a lot of that is the mental health aspect. So I do want to give kudos to, I see recently there's been an appointment of a crisis intervention team that have been released into the neighborhoods, also increased partnership with men up peacekeepers. So I do think that's imperative pieces to keep that going, but also just meeting people where they are. As a reserve deputy, I don't get paid, it's a completely volunteer role, and I've been anywhere from the north side of Flint to Regency's, giving out refrigerators, stove, and people don't ask for a lot. They look for the bare minimum when it comes to services. They just want police to show up, and they want them to be aware and sensitive to the needs of the community. Right now, I do believe that we're operating at a deficit when it comes to police, but I believe that it all comes down to what the community needs and making sure we have people there when they call, and that they are aware of what we're going down, what's happening in our city. So what that means is getting GHS involved. I do think there's a space that we can get more people involved in mental health and psychiatry, because sometimes we don't need to enforce the harm, sometimes we just need somebody to listen. So I think it's imperative that yes, that we do get the adequate numbers of law enforcement in the vehicles and meet the streets, but at the same time, look at systematic and immediate change. We need to work on getting people employed, getting our youth employed in jobs, and at the same time, give them avenues to listen to their mental health as well.
Joel Arnold, Fifth Ward. I want to echo the points that were made up here about the importance of real community policing. Folks should feel like their police department is a member of the community, not an occupying force. And I think that's something we've really got to key in on. One thing that I think is really important, though, is we should be publicly tracking and reporting so you can see it. What's our 911 response time in the city, right? My neighbors all, why would you call 911? It's going to take 2, 3, 4 hours. Maybe they won't show up at all. So I'm not going to do it. And that leads to more activity that we know is a problem. We should be really tackling that and not just saying, oh yeah, we're getting it down. We should be reporting that publicly. So if we're not, you can call us out and you can tell us that we need to do a better job. But beyond that, public safety is also not just a police problem, right? It's an investment in our recreation centers. It's our investments in our schools and our partnerships. It's an investment in all those kinds of spaces that give our young people something to do, because when we don't give our young people something to do and we don't have employment opportunities for them, we should not be surprised that these are the challenges that we see. So I think we've got to think about our investments, yes, in police and our partnerships and building good community policing, but also how are we tackling economic development to give people good paying jobs, and how do we invest in our community centers, youth programs, and the kind of things that give people something to do that isn't getting overcrowded.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, my thing is this. Police department and public safety is paramount, but overall, police don't stop crime. Police is a reactionary system. Somebody's getting beat up, 911. Domestic violence, 911. Somebody got shot, 911. Leaders, legislators are proactive entities. So the main issue that we suffer from when it comes to police and bringing our crime level down is addressing poverty. You can't tell a poor person to act decent. Most people are acting irrational with all of the crime, the nuisance, the chaos. It's because they are financially distressed. When you financially distressed for so long, it becomes dysfunctional. You can't tell a child to go to school and adhere to what the teacher is talking about because eventually they become attentive deficit disorder because they're thinking about if they're going to go home and eat a hot meal. So what happens? The mother and the father cannot provide for the child, so the child runs the street begging for themselves, and when they're thinking for themselves, they act on irrational behavior and they shoot up the whole community. But the basis of it all is poverty. In order to address this, the problems we see in Flint, we don't see in Clarkston, we don't see in Benton, we don't see it in Harvard, because there are not impoverished cities. You see what you see today in Flint because we are an impoverished community. How do we bring our community back up to some form of normality and decency? We have to implement jobs, mass production of jobs, to get masses of people off the street and get them working so that the people can provide for their children. But this city is so focused on education. I am a proponent for education. My company cleans schools. I've hired over 100 people in my cleaning service out of the 11 years that I've had my company cleaning schools, doing post-construction cleaning, doing residential cleaning. I've taken guns out of people's pockets and exchanged them with brooms and mops and shown some of them how to start their own cleaning company. This is what we have to do. You have to implement something that is meaningful in their life, valuable in their life, and bring the morals and the values back up. That is public safety. But you never want to have a public safety when you have a distressed, financially distressed city.
Thank you much. Juan Robinson, Fifth Ward. One thing I would like to always take a communal approach, right? Charity starts at home. So that means when you have young people, you have actors of crime, listen, that starts in our household. And we have to be a better representation of how we see each other, how we value one another. That's first thing first, right? We can always depend on police. And I know my approach is to serve as Black Lives Matter. Our relationship with the police have always been us holding accountability on them. Just an instance what took place with Mr. Biggs, right? Because if we depend on police to take care of our problems, then we're not getting in front of them. So it's something that we have to look at in this community that we have to take responsibility first and foremost. Then, of course, when we talk about the relationship with the police, that could definitely work. Of course, if you've been a part of Juneteenth, I know Mr. Davis did raise that up. If you saw, we had 5,000 people downtown. That was a partnership between all the police departments here in the city of Flint, Michigan State, University of Michigan, Flint Police. But first and foremost is our Urban Peace Corps that lead the charge on that. And the police support that, right? And so that's another approach of us taking a lead in our community because they are in our community, not them running our community and us dictating the community because then that's when situations take place. And also want to definitely talk about the relationship. When there's something that takes place in this community, it's an understanding that we have with these departments. So before a situation happens, they're going to call us. Right? Before we even hit the airway, before something happens, we had that conversation and we try to make some type of sense out of the scenario. And so I'm a proponent of public safety first and foremost. I respect us taking the lead on that as us being this community doing the work. And then of course our partnership with the police departments follows, right? So we'll have practices, understandings. And I just leave with this point. The reason why Flint police have body cams is because the Bowman incident when we have pushed the issue to enact that policy to force them to have body cams. So there are relationships there. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
I'm already working on the law. I had started working with them back in 2021. This was like after I got acquitted got out of that, my lawyer hired me. I immediately started working with people that you would think would be after me, right? But then I understood, like, their job, why they do what they do, how they move, how they look at us. It takes people who've been there to talk to these police. And it's also going to take each and every single one of us, though, too, because we all have a role to play. So one thing I want to propose is bring it back to younger days. You know, where the kids get to understand what the cops do, what's the do's and do nots, so we can all hold them accountable, though, as well. So a kid can know, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to rough me up. I don't have to talk to you. My parents are supposed to be here. If they don't know that, you know, what you don't know can hurt you, right? So I wrote down a few other things too. Reprogramming. The kids have been programmed to hurt each other. They have. So if we take it to the kids first, the youth first, we won't necessarily need police, but when something does happen, they know how to respond to our youth, the youth here in Flint. There has been a disconnect, for sure. I used to be like the cops. Let's keep it real. We all used to be like, we ain't calling the police. That was part of programming. Now I understand why it's good to call the police sometimes. Because if I do something crazy, guess what? I get locked up. How do I know? I've been there. You know, so if we know these things, we got to know how to combat. Each and every single one of us has been in this situation at some point or some fashion, or especially at call the police. What do we say and what do we do? We have to come up with a response to the response. It's that simple. If we teach these things before it happens, we know what to do after it happens. Once the police get there and how they move to. It's good to have police as friends. I got a nice lot of them now. Lisa didn't like police, but I do now. It makes sense now to have police friends. I suggest y'all get some too.
Mr. Harris.
Hey everyone, again, this is Ezekiel Harris, going for the 8th Ward. So a few months ago, I had my campaign kickoff. One of the kind of strange things that we did was we had these little cards in which people could write different ideas that they had for the city of Flint and what their what their hope was in terms of radio. We got all 5, right, from young to old. There were 3 kids one of my friends brought, and on the card they had put 5, but they also wrote, safety is a huge issue in our neighborhood, not just specifically at their house. In our neighborhood, we want cameras and we want gates. I said gates to your neighborhood, I said gates, because it's that dangerous. So for me, like, those kids, I'm raising my own kids here. I really want to see a Flint where our police force is really in service to the community. And I think that starts practically as a city council person. I think that starts with listening. I think that takes time to sit down with things and ask, what do you need? How can I help as a city council person to really position ourselves as being on the same side? I think conversations like these, but happening with our police would be great, so we can actually figure out community-driven solutions together. And then I would also say, practically as a city council person, I'm a part of the West Flint Community Watch. One of the great things that they had as part of their neighborhood association meeting was actually they brought police in to talk to the neighbors and to understand their specific issues for their neighborhood. Another thing I think we can also do as a city council is invest more in our nonprofit and community groups who are having different activities for our youth. My church has a youth group called 181. It has 140 teenagers there every single Thursday. They are looking for something to do, and I think as city council, we think about some financial resources, we can invest in those kind of things.
Thank you. So at this time, we are getting ready to move on to closing statements from each candidate, and then we'll do some more recognitions and get to some of your questions from the audience. So starting at the end with Ms. Williams, closing statements, you have 2 minutes.
All right. My closing statement will be, I just hope that we can all come together and work together regardless of who get the seat. I'm praying that we just got a way to together and prosper as a city. We need to build our city up. Our city is depressed and it's stressing me out. I'm tired of being a part of the city that's labeled as dangerous, broke, poor, nobody wanna live here. And I love them. I literally put a lot into the kids, the youth. I care about how they grow up. I got a son, so I care about the way that my son is raised, the way that my son is treated by the law enforcement, residents, just in general. I just care about our city, and I just pray that we can uplift each other and we can actually come with some solutions and some real progress and get somewhere. Because right now it's sad and it's not a livable space. It don't feel comfortable. And I just feel like we just need to get back to that space where we can at least feel like we live in. Because right now it's like we're trying to dig ourselves out of a major hole when we got major issues. So I do think that I feel like I will be a great asset to the community. And I feel like I could definitely, bring a lot to the table. So hopefully y'all follow the journey with me and the people that are Ward residents, y'all vote for me for a change.
Well, I want to say this. I'm running for one reason. Not for one reason, but for a strong reason. My strong reason is we have to address poverty. Poverty is the core root problem of what we're suffering from. I see some people looking this way, looking that way, but the problems that we're suffering from in Flint is lack of jobs, lack of morals, lack of values. When I convinced the Genesee County Chambers of Commerce in April of 2015 when they got the contract, 7 months before Mary Karen Weaver got elected, to bring manufacturing jobs to Flint, they acquiesced and they did that. The whole point that I'm alluding to is this. If we don't bring some mass reduction of jobs to Flint, to get masses of people off the street, our economy will stay weak, our tax base will stay weak, and we will never attract the right people to come into our city to build our population up. They was about to build a $53 billion semiconductor manufacturing in Mundy Township. The Flint Economic and Alliance is spearheading that. They knocked it down because the residents didn't want it in Mundy Township. Why? Because they saw no value in it. 2, they're not in parks, so they don't have poverty conditions and situations that we have. But we have a street called Industrial Street. That the Flint Economic and Alliance could have put that on Industrial Street and hired 10,000 people in the city of Flint and put them to work. Now, eventually, some of them people would have been coming from other cities working in Flint. But when they came to Flint, they would eventually move to Flint. And big business supports small businesses. Small businesses does not play an impact on our economy. It creates tax base, it creates some taxes, but it's not impactful as a big business will. A big business will support small business. When people get off to work at a manufacturer, they go buy from the small business. When they go on to work, they buy at the small business. This is how we strengthen our economy. But if we don't address poverty, Flint, Michigan will still remain to be in the condition that we're in, and it will get worse. Mass reduction of jobs, we're an industrial city, and we need to focus on that, and us as the residents need to fight for that so small business can thrive. Our community, the morals and values can go up. That's what we need to fight for.
I thank y'all. My wrap up will simply be this. I've done the homework. I lived in Flint all my life. I don't know this. I'm a resident. I don't know a lot of property taxes skyrocket. They assess higher taxes on everyone. They shrunk the north end. They turned us Civic Park into an apple park. They fund in the same nonprofit. They corrupt downtown. This body, whether they know it or not, when they get down in the chairs and make city of Flint money, I'm hoping to get 6 votes to understand the residents need everybody that's looking at me, except a couple, gonna be gentrified out here. Affordable housing is apartments that we cannot afford. A lot of people are retired, and you cannot, on a fixed income, continually deal with the way they're charging us. So what am I saying is I have no game for you. I don't have no hand behind my back. I ain't tied to nobody but the residents. Now, what has to happen, y'all, just like when I told people, when everybody said, don't pay them for that money you can't bring. You better know this. In Civic Park, the average house worth $300 to $500. On a nice house, probably and $50,000 on Main Street, they claim they sold a house for $100,000. And people on fixed income. You can't do that off of General Motors retirement. So we looking at gentrification. The widest poison, $1 billion came through here for the kids and everybody. We ain't got a dime. We got to have a party. Now you sit here, everybody here I think qualified. Everybody, none left out. But I'll tell you like this. This is our last chance with this corruption to get it right. And I'm gonna say it again, we must work together. But it's not a joke. You have a great day.
Okay.
Stand up too. All right, y'all. Again, Ezekiel Harris, running for 8th Ward. Again, just thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share a little bit about myself. I am truly dedicated to the city of Flint, whether I'm on council or not. I've been doing this work for over 10 years. I know I look young, but I've been married for 10 years. I got 3 kids, I got a mortgage, and really have been invested in the nonprofit sector and in the community. When it comes to city council, for me, it's really about proven leadership. You can say a lot of things, but have you done those things? Specifically think about the 8th Ward. I'm the only candidate who can say I have my children in the public schools. I've done work on behalf of the community. I've renovated parks. I've done street plans. I've run businesses. Done corridor improvement plans. So when we talk about what can happen in our city, I'm thinking through the lens of how can we get this, how can we get these things done, not just how can we talk about it. So for me, again, I'm running for 8th Ward. I don't know how many of you are in the 8th Ward, but if you know, I know a couple are in the 8th Ward, but if you know anyone who's in the 8th Ward, please share my name with them. We're ultimately electing 9 officials to the Flint City Council. So even if you aren't in the 8th Ward, it's important to see how we all might interact with each other. So thank you again for that.
Yeah, I think it is good because I am standing up for the people. Literally standing up. We got to run around some more city council candidates. I'm running because I want God to do it. That's the reason why. I don't know how many religious people, but you don't want to get beat by God outside of things. So I'm running. It is time for something different. It is time for change. We've been getting beat up over and over again, all these different promises of people that said they're going to do something, and all of a sudden, as they get there, how can we not have seen it coming if you really pay attention? You know what I'm saying? So now it's time. Pay attention. I want people to get as close as you can, each and every single one of us, and pay attention to who you're electing and why. We see what's already going on down there. You know, I'm not taking no shot at no individual, but as a whole, council has been messed up. You know what I'm saying? As a whole, the executive, you know, the mayor has been messed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to get people and elect people who's going to fight for it and who's going to do that thing. So I want y'all to be my boss. That's really what it is. I'm aiming to serve. I've been serving since I was about like 10 years old when I first started doing the cream. Now it's time for me to do something that I never thought I would be doing because I took that and then serving all the way up until now. I've been serving y'all youth as well because I have worked as far as a case management with at-risk youth. I know what it looks like, I know what it takes, and I know that change and growth can't happen. It's time for us to do something different. We need some younger bodies, younger faces, people who got great ideas. And then y'all, it's time for y'all to really come through and actually tell us what we need to do and hold us accountable for what that is. When I say younger faces, though, too, I ain't talking about anybody got gray hair. So I want to let's go ahead and knock that out. But then also, this is about we the people, not me the people. So understand, it's not about me. It's not about each individual, it's about y'all. Let's do something different. And if you're ready for change now, vote the real Brown. I just made that up. All right.
And I just want everybody to know that all is not lost. We got people that just moved here, we got elderly on fixed incomes, we got people who are on SSI, and they feel like all is lost, there's no hope. Our water rates are steadily going up, some of us are being taxed out of here, but we have to understand that there's value where we're at. We got private equity firms coming here buying up our houses. We got other entities seeing value where some of us don't see it. But I think it's important that we stand 10 toes down and understand that we plan on going here in the next 5 to 10 years. this body that we have here is going to dictate a lot of things. I have a business here. Me and my brother go on a restaurant, the Poke Boat, right on 3rd Avenue. So I think it's like close to it. I raised my 2 daughters here as well. They go from 100 Elementary. I'm also part of the reserves department of the Virginia County Sheriff's Office because I wanted to get involved. I wanted to do more. I couldn't sit in an ivory tower or a Poke Boat. I can't just have a business that's seemingly thriving. I had to get into it. And so what that means is showing up, saying, hey, whether you see value in where you are or not, there are entities here and businesses that want exactly what you have. Whether it's a one-bedroom house, whether it's your roof falling in, there's entities that see value in it. So I think it's important that everyone here sees value within yourself. If I'm here, I don't owe anybody anything. My business is growing up by our hands. We didn't take any grants, any off-the-table monies. And it's important that we have people in this position that's going to work for the people, not for the self-interest. And when things get hard, they're going to be there. And when we win, they're going to be here. My name is Ron Dodson. Yeah, I'm a small business owner, but I love to serve in a further capacity. And I think, again, economic development is important. It shows the well-being of our residents. We got talks of data centers. We got talks of everything. But we're still coming off unaffordable water. We're still coming off a crisis. So it's time to put the people first, and that's what I tend to do in the 5th Ward. Thank you.
All right, good. Hey everybody, Joel Arnold, 5th Ward candidate. And what I'm asking for your vote, because I'm asking you to judge me on things that I've done. So the story I'd like to share is when I used to work at the Blight office in the city when I first started, the city was solving about 33% of blight complaints. Which meant if you called City Hall about a burned out house on your block or an overgrown lot, you had a 1 in 3 shot at it. That's not good for our residents. By the time that I left that office, we were solving about 80% of those complaints. That wasn't with a big increase in funding, that wasn't with a major overhaul, something. It was about focusing on our residents, following up on complaints, and then thousands more times in our city that folks didn't have to deal with the dumping on the block or the unboarded house that was drawing crime issues. And we need a city council that's focused on basics like that and not focused on fighting crime. If you want to know more about me, or you can sit down and talk. One thing that I do that's on all my flyers is I'll give everybody in this room my cell number. So give me a call or send me a text. My number is 810-309-8198. And I would love to talk about what you think is important in your neighborhood, what you want to see. Because at the end of the day, whatever we do on council, we don't have the support of our residents and of the public, we're going to fail. And so we need a government that's focused on serving our residents, getting the basics right, not getting caught up in I don't like this idea because it's your idea or because we have a personality disagreement, but focusing on how are we fixing street lights, improving public safety, addressing blight, filling potholes, and making sure that we have a city that all of us can be proud of. So again, my name is Joel Arnold. I'm a candidate in the 5th Ward. I live on Mason Street. And I hope if you're a 5th Ward resident, I can have your vote. And even if you're not, let's sit down and have a conversation, get coffee, and talk about how across all 9 wards of our city, we can make this a better place to live. Thank you so much.
Everybody started something, I might as well stand up to it. Nevertheless, Lamar Robinson, 5th Ward, I'm not going to give you all the political talk and jargon and all those different things. You know me by the work, right? No matter what capacity it was, whether it be in service as a housing commissioner for 5 years, serve as a Black Lives Matter president, Juneteenth chair. We have programs in the school. We've mentored over 800 young boys. I'm talking about at-risk young boys. Right? We had 20 of them employed this summer on the neighborhood impact program, really doing the work. So it's not about just all the things that you say you want to do. You judge a person on what they've done. Right? You never see me in these capacities in politics or in a seat like this, but just in general, you know me from out there in the community and getting it done. And that's what this city needs right now. We need a vision so clear that we have to be dedicated to make it happen. Everybody has to be engaged. Everybody has to be involved. It's not about what you like, dislike, and all those different things. It's about the impact that you can make for people that live here. And so I've always been committed to that. And always will be committed to that. So whether it's a seat or not, it's always about continuing pushing this city forward. Because that's what folks want. That's what we want to see. So, just all in all, I would love to serve you as a 5th Ward City Council. I would love to work alongside whoever step up and be in those positions, because at the end of the day, we are responsible for that. As a body, as the legislative branch, we're supposed to work for the people in the community, right? So let's not get up here and sound let's be dedicated to do the work, because anybody can make it make sense. But people gonna judge when they get there, and it makes difference. So I'm definitely committed myself. Appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate you all for coming out, being a part of this, because this is what the community looks like. So you need to give yourselves a round of applause, because you are always there for the members of society. And so that's what we look forward to doing. My name is Dwayne Robinson, running for 5th Ward City Council, and I'll let us serve you first.
As they say, we making us all stand up, so we make old people stand up too. Anyway, my name is Adriana, I'm running for 2nd Ward. I would love to serve the community of Flint. As a 24-year-old veteran of an occupational therapy and having the privilege of working with the seniors as well as the babies and the youth, I have seen the need in our community. I can't tell you how many times I've been out talking to even seniors and they express what they're looking for. They can't afford to get those roofs fixed. They can't afford to get those repairs done to their homes. We already know money's okay. We already talked about the money's being gone, but we need to find a way that those people can still be taking care of our seniors and our youth. We talk about the violence, we got to get that taken care of. But what I would like to see after this election and during this campaign season is that no fighting and bickering amongst the candidates. That's number one. Because at the end of the day, when November the 3rd hit, 8 o'clock and all the ballots are in, guess what? We all are still residents of the city of Flint, and we all have to find a way to work with one another. It's best to keep it peaceful, keep it civil, all the way through. And I would just say too, if I won to my 2nd Ward candidates that's running against me, I would like to sit down and have a talk, because there's a reason why you're running. You're running because you have something valid that you want the community to know. You have something valid that you want to bring to the community. And I ask that if I lose in November, or even in August, that you talk to me and we sit down and try to figure out what it is that we can do to still make this community work and work together. Thank you. So I wanted to encourage the residents, especially in the 2nd Ward, to follow me on Facebook, the Flint 2nd Ward. I make it a point to post everything that's positive in the city of Flint, all opportunities in the city of Flint. And so there's no check on your people. It is nothing but promoting what's good. A few things that I have done, because I've done so much that I had to make a list, but a lot of things are there. And also you will find some things on YouTube, because we also had a few community conversations that were taken. But I lobbied on Capitol Hill about the effects of the war on the city of Flint and how it's affecting us at the pump. I lobbied for us in Lansing about funding our libraries, since our funding was cut on the federal level. I appoint responsible individuals to represent the 2nd Ward on different commissions, like the zoning commission, like the planning commission. And then also, my work made Flint #1 for smoke detector installation and fire safety and education. I started the Little League. The Little League was the gamification, neighborhood beautification. I was beautifying the Cyrus Park community before I got here, still do it. And I also work with a group of disabled individuals to help them get job skills, and they help me become co-adopters. So we're working with different organizations to make these things happen. Next, just like the candidate in 8th Ward said, I am the only council person that chose to send their kids not only to the school in Flint, but to the Flint Community School. That says a lot. As well as I was awarded parent accolade, including Parent of the Year, for like 7 consecutive years. Moreover, I created the Women's Empowerment Brunch highlighting Women's History Month. I created a special event for our scholars for Black History Month and highlighting African American History Month. And so those are just a few of the things that I have done during my tenure, and I'm looking forward to doing more. Thank you.
Names afterwards, let me start by saying where people are. The question was, can you work there? Can you work there? When Mayor Weaver was in office, I disagreed with Me and Mayor Weaver and Eric Mays, Councilman Mays, and Mr. Gilchrist, we put our differences aside because it was something bigger than us. It was that lost Flint water settlement. We tried to inform everybody that this settlement was not good for the people here in the city of Flint. We were able to put differences aside, remove personal grief or beef, whatever the case may be, and work together. Me and Cheryl Thompson, we got the cancer study started. She worked for the MDHHS, she was the director. Working with Ms. Harletta Martin with blight, because she knows all about blight here in the city of Flint. Once you elect me, first ward, we're going to remove the green zone in the master plan, because we can't generate any generational wealth by building apartments. We need to be able to build houses. And while it's still green, we can't build anything. We're going to remove all these emergency manager orders that's still in place that was supposed to be removed a long time ago. Thinking about the charter has a way of removing the charter things without having to go to council and all that. You petition the city. It's petition. All you do is go get signatures. It's just like working for the state and everybody else. I didn't work with Vice President Harris. I went down to the White House 3 times and did 2 briefings at the White House. I know how to work and navigate, and I know the rules, I know the laws, I know things that's already in the process or progress right now that you need somebody on the council that knows everything already so that we can get things moving forward. Thank you.
I have a lot of concerns, and I have solutions to my concerns, but it'll take about 2 minutes. Flint needs change. And I want to say knowledge is crucial, but integrity, consistency, and genuine commitment to the people matter equally. If I get the first council seat, I pledge to advocate for the community by consistently making decisions and taking actions that are rooted in honesty and reliability. I will be transparent, follow moral principles, and ensure that people can depend on me to be fair and accountable in every decision I make for the board and the city. I'm ready to learn and serve, and I will be committed to do what's right for my city. And I thank you guys for having me here. I thank y'all for coming. Vote for me, Deborah Coleman, first ward. Thank you.
Beverly Biggs Levy for the 3rd Ward City Council. I would love to work with anyone that want to do fair by our city. I will not sit in a seat and take money and bid on things that are not right for our people. I am for the residents. Number 1, for our people. I will not, I've had restaurants I've owned. I've taught kids how to cook. I did a lot of things. I recalled to people. When you're not doing right for our people, ain't no sense in sitting in the seats. And that's what I mean. I mean for business. I'm here to work with the people. Like I say, I've been put in twice, but the foolish eyes said no. So that's okay, because God has, what God has for me is for me. And that's all I have to say for the people.
Before we move on with our last question, I would like to acknowledge Reverend Harris, from the president of the Southern Pacific Social Justice, Reverend Williams, from Vernon Chapel A&E, Reverend Fred Hill, WFOT, Let's Talk About It, Reverend Thompson, St. Mark's Missionary Baptist Church, and Pastor Derek Nolan from St. John Christian Church. So I have one question from the audience, which is it's a big one. It's a hot topic, if not nationally, locally, right now. And the question is, data centers are increasingly being discussed as an economic development opportunity. What benefits and challenges do you see data centers bringing to Flint, including impacts on jobs, tax revenue, energy use, and under what conditions would you support or oppose a data center project in the city of Flint? Starting with the eighth ward, Mr. Harris.
Oh, man. I was not expecting that. So for me, I think about data centers, I also think about other large industrial projects that have come into the city. It's like in the past. One thing when it comes to considering data centers is the location. I think it's very important to make sure that they're not located within neighborhoods that happen very often in the past of being located amongst black and brown neighborhoods. I am concerned with the effects of how it might increase electricity rates for the city and what that might do to our infrastructure. But I do welcome the conversation around data centers to ultimately learn more, work with our colleagues on what's the best path forward for the city.
Mr. Brown, seventh ward.
Borough Brown, 7th Ward City Council. All right. So I have went down to council and I spoke on this already. I broke it all down through, data research and then also testimonies from people who've already had data centers that was already built. So for me, I said flat out no. No data center here. It's already a lot of stuff that's happening too. The risk is not greater than the reward, the risk is greater than the reward. And the thing was, like, as I looked into it, we seen that the water rates would go up and we would have to foot the bill. We already know that the water isn't 100% good. No matter who says that, we still have people here in Flint that is getting brown, stuff coming up out their tax. That's an issue. But it would also take the water that we already have. So then, what are we talking about here? It shouldn't even really be a conversation, but like I said before, for the ones that don't know, it'll also mess up the environment. The soil would not be inhabitable. Animals wouldn't even want to live there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like that that's already happening. People are already saying that it's loud where they're at. So just imagine if I just did this all day. Somebody be ready to slap. What are you going to do when that's built there and it's constantly everywhere and you can hear it miles and miles away? Who would want to hear that? Anybody want to raise their hand and say they would want to support that? I didn't think so. So I said unanimously that the council should have voted that, and then it was crazy because one person that here I would say would definitely had took it back on deal, said yes. It's supposed to be a no. I mean, I'm just putting out there we hold people accountable. That's what it's got to be. So no, I wouldn't say no each and every single time. If they want to build it somewhere where there's no people at all. How about they do that? Build it where there's no people at all. And we can always, hear conversation about it. I'm always open to conversations, good and bad. But at the same time, we gotta look after the people, and that's what it's about. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson.
Absolutely. I think more or less when you look at the pros and cons, it can be looked at as a job creation situation. I know that a lot of communities is looking at it like that, especially in the rural areas. But then when you also look at taking account of how they will drive the rising costs in our electricity and our water bills, that's something that Flint residents can't afford. We already pay $52.50 for a service charge for water we can't even drink. So to add all additional costs due to data centers, I think that would be a negative decision right now, at least for the city of Flint. And I'm always looking at it, from both sides of the spectrum, based on the research and getting greater understanding how these things can play a part. Every time you use ChatGPT, I know a lot of people use ChatGPT, using AI, creating flyers and everything. Probably did your whole campaign with this stuff. But then will be the same ones that say, like, yeah, we don't support one thing or another. I'm just saying for us, we have to have a better understanding of why we use things, but then also make it make sense for ourselves too. And this is no shot to nobody. I just want to make that clear. The thing is, we are moving towards a new revolution, if you will. Technology is here. So we have to be better stewards of how that's going to benefit people instead of having a negative impact on our finances, household, or even our environment. So for me right now, I'm going to just be honest, it's enough, right? But also willing to explore different options and opportunities that we can benefit off of, the financial gain from the data centers.
Thank you.
Fifth Ward, Mr. Davis.
Totally no. I think city council should have put a moratorium on that. I think they should have just all said it all over, just got rid of the whole idea. Putting a high rate on utility bills, it's not going to give us the job that they expected to give us. It's all a farce. The energy costs, you know, it's just so disturbing to me that they would desire to bring that to Flint. When I want to repeat this again, when they could put the $53 billion semiconductor manufacturing here, where it was estimated to hire 10,000 people. And one township denied it, when they could have been shifted over to where they want to put the data center at. We have all the industrial land that you can never imagine. Flint is one of the first industrial cities in America, but they want to put a data system there. Why put a data system there when we should have mass production of manufacturing jobs? No matter how time the technology advances, everything has to be mass produced somewhere. Everything you're looking at got to be mass produced somewhere. A pencil, a comb, an A-ring, anything, whatever you're looking at is mass produced somewhere. Why aren't we mass producing things here? It kills many birds with one stone. Many of the problems that we're talking about, it will go away. Like potholes, nuisance, taxes, street economy. All these things will get better and the worst things will go away. And it will bring a population up to the point where we need it to be. We have space for over 100,000 people to come here. But they're not focusing on that. We want to put a data system here. But us as a people has to work together and get on it. This is why I want to continue to echo this. I've been echoing this since 2012, 2013. Flint is an industrial city. It helps everybody make money. But if we don't bring something here that's going to help everybody make money, chaos is going to take control. Nuisance is going to take control.
Thank you. Time. Mr. Allen.
Joel Arnold, Fifth Ward. I think I echo a lot of the sentiments that have been said up here already. You know, I think if we have a conversation with folks that are interested in pursuing data centers in our community, that's only a conversation we can have if we know three things for sure. That no electricity rates are going to be impacted for our neighbors who already can't afford the electricity rates we see today. That our water isn't going to be polluted by these, and our water rates aren't going to be driven up by these, and that the noise that we've seen in data centers in other places that was referenced earlier with that loud wow kind of sound isn't going to be present in our neighborhood. Because we know that those can be heard for not just a half a mile away, but a mile away. You get to a point where if it's not done right, everybody in the city is going to be hearing that. So I think we as a city have a year here to be really thoughtful and to craft rules that have teeth to make sure that if something comes to this city, we're making sure that it's done in a way that doesn't hurt our residents. And if the people who want to build this can only give a pinky promise and say, oh yeah, I promise it won't make noise, but you don't really have any teeth to enforce that. Or I promise it won't affect your water rates, but we don't have teeth to enforce that. Then that's a situation where we say no. Because we've seen what happens in our city when we have investment that doesn't have teeth to enforce rules. What happens to our residents get hurt. We don't want to see that. We want to make sure that any benefits that come to our city don't come with downsides.
Mr. Dodson.
There you go.
John Dodson, for Fifth Ward. Currently, as it is, no. I came out when they first said it. I said no. I mean, I'm in business. I'm a friend of business, so I get it. I mean, I would love to have workers patronizing the Poke Bowl all day. I would love an extra 1,000 sales a month, but I can't. I be besmirched to vote for an industry that uses large amounts of water, but we're still facing a water affordability issue. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, granted, again, we do need industry, we do need jobs, but I don't think this is the industry we would want in our community, especially not right now. Actually, a girl had recently went viral on Instagram, being skeptical of these data centers, saying, hey, why are they putting these in our communities? Why don't they put them in communities that don't matter, or communities that are already poisoned? Quote unquote, let's put them in Flint, Michigan. And it seemed to be almost a week later, all of a sudden we had a resolution coming up to approve a data center. So no, I'll be besmirched knowing that we already are facing a water affordability issue. The answer is no. After doing research, it looks as though only 35 to 40 jobs will be created after it's built and up and going. So yes, there will be jobs while it's being built, but while it's going, they're looking at no the jobs. Thirdly, we have so many other things that we could be focused on trying to get, like Mr. Davis said, mass manufacturing. Of course, we have to pay attention. We got AI coming in, so we got to make sure our people are ahead of that. And then we have jobs within that field, and we're not laying off workers here. Again, not right now. I don't believe the data centers is the way to go for Flint, Michigan, because we don't want that on our digital infrastructure as well as our water infrastructure. And then if something did come way down the line, the only way I would even look at it is if there's a very staunch community benefits agreement, where everything that happens there, everyone in the city of Flint is benefiting from it. But currently, as it is, no. As soon as it came out, I came out and said, no, I don't approve of it. With the rest of the majority of city council, that I want to approve it as it is. And so, yeah, we do need other industry, but I don't think data centers is the solution.
I say no. No, no, no. I don't have to make an example. If they want to bring it to the third ward, no. Take it somewhere else. I don't have to say why I don't. I say no. And that's an example. Except what I say, no.
I'm ready to go.
I am like to say, so I'm not torn about it, because I just like the fact that, the technology is advancing. I've seen technology advance from a flip phone to a green, black screen to, we got all types of stuff going on right now. Data center clearation, absolutely not. In the third ward, absolutely not. Down the street from my green that's getting old, and my mama doesn't have a yard every single day. I think not. Now, we're going to put it somewhere else, different area, I'm all with it. Because it's technology, we can't fight that. Because if you go out there, it's here. We can't stop that. We can't stop it. They don't do it regardless. I just say, the location, it won't be in Flint. Put it somewhere else. Put it outside Flint. Put it where they got multiple acres. Like, it's other places for it to go, and I don't think the Blue City Center is. Absolutely not. No. I do feel like we do have space to put other things there, like Amazon factory or something that people can come and we can fill that place up with everybody in there. Everybody can work that living place. But the data center, we not gonna get 100 people in the community working there. They gotta be specialized workers. They gotta do some type of engineering, take jobs, something where they even, be employing a job for them. So absolutely not in the city of Flint. Somewhere else, absolutely sure.
Thank you. This is a very touchy subject, but I'll say this is going to sound kind of crazy, but write it in your book. It's to kill off the rest of the poor folks, period. What it is this: the moratorium is a delay. As soon as they get it in order, the billionaires going to bring data centers. They bring it in the north side where the poor folks ain't nothing good never came over there to us. We didn't get done our money and then us go to the data center. Because soon as it's going to go straight up, the air quality going to be poison and everything else. It should be absolutely all over the country. No, it's for humanoid robots. General Motors is the one bringing in the data center to do humanless and robotic type of manufacturing. Now, what that does, technology replaces people. It's going to kill off people. The young folks, they let them kill them off right now. With these team takeovers, this is setup. And I could say it, write it down. It's to kill off the North End, everybody that's got to pay for a home. They're going to gentrify us out of here and condemn us out of our houses so they can take the land and do what they want to do. The moratorium is just why they build the infrastructure. We can't stop it. But it's a hell no for my roots. It's so dangerous. Do the homework. This is not on ChatGPT all over the country. They're coming in with 6G, 5G ain't enough. And this is going to destroy, like I said, with the noise, the pollution. We We are in a world of trouble. Humans ain't needed. Look at what China doing. We got to open our eyes. These folks ain't never came to us with something that's going to benefit us. Data centers is a resounding, like every Monday Township, they giving them $250,000, $500 to tear down their house. They just foreclosed us out and gave us a dime. Hell no.
I say no, definitely not a plan. A couple of things I like to say on that is that the government been doing data centers and AI for over 20 years. So we are just starting to get ourselves more abreast to what's going on. But it's been here. It has, it's been around. They have it in there. You thinking of something, and you mention something, then all of a sudden the advertisement pop up on your phone. You think they ain't listening. They already heard what you said. Sometimes they even hear what you're thinking. Know that. Just know that. There's a town that's south of Lansing called Bay Township. Population a little more than 3,000. On June the 10th, they just voted down no data centers in their area because they wanted to bring it out there. And that's a very rural area if it's just a little more than 3,000 people. So they're trying to take the data center to wherever they can get them and wherever they can put them at. We know that pollution is real. I'm just going to tell you, my family's from a city down in South Carolina that was vexed out of their property. The government put in a plant down there called the Savannah River plant where they make the atomic bombs. I had family members that worked in there, made good money, but when they retired, they didn't get a chance to enjoy it because they got cancer and died before they could really properly enjoy the feast of them working in those plants. I almost went down there and worked too, thankful that I did. So I say no to the data centers. Do not bring them in any area that's going to be affecting the people, and especially in the people of color or the people on the north side. Now, so one of my major platforms in the constituent education, as I said before, I've been having a community meeting for the last 5 years. And so we need to inform ourselves so we can inform the residents. No, I'm not a hard no, because we have to understand what we're dealing with. Well, first, I also want to talk about, we got to look at community benefits. So if we were ever to consider this, what would the benefits of the community look like between us and the organization? Well, let's go ahead and talk about, when I hear we talk about pollution and water use and stuff, I don't know much about the pollution. We have the moratorium in place so we can use this year to get good information. We need to look at what other municipalities are doing. How have they handled this? And the technology is changing all of the time. This may be totally different from the data centers that people are talking about. And so again, it starts with getting out of our feelings and let's get into the facts and the data. Another deal is we talk about how this can help the community. Well, one major way how we get the benefit is we will become a water landlord because on the industrial side, we have the KWA pipeline goes straight to the site. And so we will be the landlord of unfiltered water going directly to the center. I'm just saying hypothetically, so we talk about the good and the bad. And so we will be in charge of the water. So they won't use our legal water, this will be totally KWA. And we will be in charge of regulating how much they pay. And so this will be something big for our infrastructure. So my whole point is, let's pause, like the moratorium said, let's get educated. Let's educate the residents so they have facts, so they understand what's going on. And then if someone is interested in coming to our community, let's hear them out. Let's hear what they want to bring. Let's ask our questions. And let's pretty much make a deal that's responsible for Flint. And if we can't do that, we'll guarantee the safety. Thank you.
Ms. Coleman?
It's a hard no for me for the data center. Yesterday, I went to a listening and informational discussion about the data center, and I got a lot of information out of it. Anyway y'all say it, however y'all think about it, no matter what, it's going to be damaging to our city, period. I'm concerned about the impact of the water and the infrastructure. Our water supply going to be at risk again. consumer power is already hiking our consumers up. It's going to even be a bigger increase. There's going to be power strain on the grid, air and noise pollution, to name a few of the potential hazardous impacts that will affect us all, the whole city. You got to talk about jobs. The only jobs going to be is security and custodial jobs. That ain't going to be up in there. Ain't nobody going to get up in there and make no money. And it's still a hard no for me. I grow my own vegetables. I got flowers. I love birds. I don't want it nowhere near me. So it's a hard no for me. Thank you.
It's a hard no. Why pay $72 million to clean up the society? Come on, man. GM left. And then put another company that's going to do it, where the taxpayers have to pay the $72 million for what GM did. You want to talk about that? 500% brain pro stuff. You want to talk about that? Look at all the kids here that's mental. Their mental stability is messed up in their life. And it was regulation put in place to make sure things like that didn't happen. So money, they are able to get around these loopholes. So why do I want to bring anything in our community? Yes, I use ChatGPT, but that don't mean I need their headquarters in my city, because see, the overseas work at GM, but they go to Swartz Creek and Grand Lake, where they don't have air pollution and everything.
That's it.
So let me this time be able to do that. When they did 475, they moved all the black people who was making money, living good. They ran a highway through their area.
So did.
Let's let them do it out there in rural areas. Let's stop being guinea pigs. Let's stop being flunkies for all these big corporations that just want to come into our community and take advantage. $10 million is probably what they give us in our community benefit premium, because they know that we're going to run for the dollar signs.
Right.
No, I'm not selling out my community for nobody. Not this time, not ever. If they talk about if you don't vote on it, you go to jail. But then I got some friends up in there to play spades. Because I'm going to vote no. I'm going to make sure that the community is safe. Because we have seen devastation from what air pollution, water pollution, electric bills, and everything else. We have seen this.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you.
I would like to thank all of the candidates for coming out, including the mayoral candidates who will come out later.
I'm out, family. I'll see y'all tomorrow.